Good evening, sports fans, and welcome to tonight's football game between the Lakota West Firebirds and the Fairfield Indians. We're here at Lakota Firebird Stadium for this struggle in titanic nature. Dan, I'm Brent Phelan. Dan, tell us a little bit about these two teams.
Well, you know, they're kind of the tale of two different teams here. I mean, typically Fairfield, as of late, as you know, Brent's been pretty strong since they hired Jason Krause as their head coach. They've been in the thick of things in the race, made the playoffs a couple years, so they're traditionally a good team. This year, not so much, 2-3, struggling a little bit, and their struggles are coming on defense. They're giving up a lot more points than they're scoring, and, you know, it's killing them. They've been in some games, but, again, I think their defensive struggles. If you look at this, as we were talking before the game, Lakota West and Fairfield offensively, very close. Fairfield's fourth in the conference in total offense, averaging, you know, about 300 yards a game or 45 yards a game. And West is right behind them in fifth. And, you know, how's the difference? What's the difference between a 5-1 team when offensively they look pretty similar? And the difference is defense. Lakota West is number one in the conference in defense, only giving up 179 yards and only 12.5 points per game, where the other side of that tail is Fairfield is 7th or 8th in the league in defense, giving up 300 yards a game, giving up 27 points a game, which is a point more than they're scoring. So that's the difference between 2-3 and 5-1. I don't know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, so for Fairfield, I mean, obviously the offense all runs through their quarterback, number 8, Talon Fisher. Leads the team in passing with just over 700 yards year to date, and also over 300 yards rushing. He's second to Jordan Jackson on that category. Right. 2 touchdowns passing, 6 rushing, but unfortunately, as everything goes through him, the fact that he's got thrown 8 interceptions this year is really...
Eight's tough, and I mean, you compare that to Mitch Bolden. Mitch has thrown for 9 touchdowns and only 3 interceptions, and 2 of those came in the first game of the season. So, I mean, Mitch has been able to take care of the ball a lot better over the next 5 games. So far playing pretty well. But that's as we discussed before, Brent, a typical Jason Krause team is a very athletic quarterback, and everything runs through him. He rushes. He's very high in the GMC in rushing. He's 4th in passing. Mitch Bolden is 2nd in passing, and not too far behind in rushing. So both of them very similar styles. It's just that Mitch has been able to take care of the ball a little bit better than Fisher has, so therefore you see, again, a better record.
Well, and I think the key you mentioned earlier, in their 3 losses, they scored 24, 18, and 27 points. So just perfectly illustrates the fact that they just give up too many points. Yeah. I mean, you'd like to think in high school football that if you scored 27 and 24 points, you'd have a good chance to win at least one of the 2.
Right.
And they lost both of those games. So what do you think they can do to change that up? I mean, obviously take care of the ball. I mean, but they don't go out there expecting or planning or trying to turn it over. So what do you think they need to do a little different here?
Well, they're going to have to defend the pass. I mean, right now you would think that a Colerain coached or a guy that came from Colerain, which is traditionally running the football, would bring that style to West. However, that's not the case. Bolden has brought a different style here. They throw the football a lot more, and most of their yards is coming through the air. And that's interesting, although, Cameron Goody is going to be the difference here. He runs the football. He's, 6th in the GMC in rushing. So they got a potent weapon there. The difference is, traditionally they're throwing the football a lot. And for Fairfield to win a football game, they're going to have to shove them down. They're going to have to keep them under 200 yards passing, I believe, to win the game, and then continue a lot of their stuff and not turn the ball over. The big key for Fairfield is you can't turn the ball over 8 times and expect to win this football game.
So anything else that you can think from their perspective? I mean, they're coming out here, you're 2-3, you're playing, and I understand right now the GMC is an interesting combination, right? We have East and West both at 5-1, Colerain at 4-2, Princeton at 5-1, although they lost the game earlier this year to Lakota West in pretty significant fashion.
Right.
When you're Fairfield, you're obviously not going to do much in the GMC at this stage. But the cool thing is in Division I in Southwest Ohio, 16 of the 18 teams make the playoffs.
Right, so they can still make the playoffs, and that's what they're playing for. They get a win against Lakota West with, 5 big wins. That's going to put a lot of points on the calendar or the charter in the way that Ohio picks its playoff teams, they could get a home playoff.
And how you match them up, especially,
Yeah,
right? 'Cause,
exactly.
I think it's pretty clear halfway through the season, or a little over halfway. Nobody wants to be number 16.
No,
I don't think you want St. X.
No, you don't want St. X at all. And, I think you have a potential. The first game of the season may have been another regional playoff, highlight or a preview. Is you don't want to play. I don't think you want to play West or St. X. West didn't do very well offensively in that game, but they've gotten better each week. And, have played some tough teams. I mean, West has had a tough schedule. As Fairfield has not had a real easy schedule to start the season either. So it should be interesting tonight. It's high school football, Brent. Anything can happen.
So here we are ready for kickoff. You'll see Lakota West receiving in the all-red uniforms, black helmets. Fairfield, the white tops, red bottoms, and white helmets. And Fairfield will be kicking off to Lakota West. And here we go.
Two well-coached teams here tonight. As you got a short kickoff up to one of the upbacks who goes straight up the middle. A nice return. So West is going to start out with good field position as they take the ball first, which means Fairfield will have the ball in the second half since they kicked off, and I'm assuming that they deferred.
Looks like that was Brendan Remy at number 14 there, a sophomore, 6-foot sophomore, who didn't just fall on it. A lot of times you see that kick on there, the squib, and one of the up guys just falls on it. He picked it up and advanced it for 7-8 yards. So
you don't get to see the ball much in the up back. So you get one, you got to take off and run with it.
And Brennan is he's a receiver, so he's a skill position guy in that middle tier, but advances up. So 1st and 10 from the 39-yard line for Lakota West. Unsurprisingly, we're going to see a shotgun with Mitch Bolden, number 7, back, and he's going to play action, throw deep. First play, you see Alex Safari 2.
Got it.
That was just too easy. Oh, as he
drops the ball.
So Alex Safari makes a nice catch, nice throw from the quarterback.
Right. Well thrown ball, well designed.
We're going to see a replay here. You're going to see him just kind of.
They run play action to start. Good blocking up
There's
front.
Mitch Bolden, good ball.
And good ball. Let him. Just hit him right. You can't throw that ball any better. And Afari's carrying it with one hand and losing it. There you go.
I think he was there trying to get in between the two guys just to easily make it into the end zone. And oops.
That could have been disastrous. That's why he tucked the ball away at all times.
Yeah. So thankfully for him, he did get back on the ball. So it's 1st and goal for the Firebirds from the Fairfield 7 that quickly. Going to hand the ball to Good right up the middle. He's going to get inside the 5-yard line. Looks like they're going to mark in between, almost up to the 3, so that's going to be about half the way to the end zone from where they started. So it's going to be 2nd and goal from the 3.5-yard line. Now, Cameron Good, nice running back. I mean,
there you see him, a good size. You see him right there in the middle of your screen.
Yeah. A little over 5, between 5 and 6 yards a carry, but he is over 400 yards already 6 games in. So needs a couple big games here if he wants to get to 1,000 on the regular season. Looks like we've got an offsides there, yeah. So I think what happened is the left end, number 24 for Fairfield, was a little excited when the Lakota player went in motion.
There's your call.
I think he thought he was going to he was actually moving and it was just a guy going in motion. So
many years on, Coach, that drives you nuts more than anything. I mean, you teach those kids to look at a football, do not move, ignore everything.
That brown thing.
Except the brown thing on the field, and it's right there. Look at it. Don't go until then. Kids still listen. They jump off cadence and motion and everything else.
So here we go. Bolden's going to hand the ball right to Good again to the right side. Not much there. I mean, the ball had been advanced inside the 2 with the penalty for 2nd and goal. I'm not sure we'll see where they spot him, but it looks like it's right at the 2-yard line. So,
Brett,
good defensive play there from
defense
Fairfield.
Playing pretty stout up front against a pretty good offensive line by West. But this is the thing. You run, one play action for a long pass to get them down here. And then they run the ball twice to Good. This looks like a Mitch Bolden running type play to me, where he's going to fake to Good and try and get outside.
Yeah, you would think it'd be at least some kind of read at a minimum, right? That interesting. Afari coming around from the left side. He's going to fight his way not into the end zone. It's going to be 4th and goal from inside the 1-yard line. So they gave Alex a chance there to try to finish the play off, and a little pitch. Technically, because it was pitched it's a pass.
Yeah, if Alex carries the football the way you're taught to carry the football,
it would have already been a touchdown.
There would already be a touchdown.
So we're gonna show that. So
it's a little jet sweep.
So because he actually tossed it to him, it's considered a pass, not a run play, but short. And they're lining up. Looked like initially they were thinking, saw people going on there. Maybe it's a field goal. It is actually a heavy package. See 99 Brian Henderson, a defensive lineman in there. Mitch Bolden will be under center.
Almost a sneak-looking
bunch of big men, and it's into the end zone there.
Yes.
So, and if you take a look at the guys that are in there's 99. Henderson was on that end. So that's one of those where I don't care how many there. It was an unbalanced line because of how heavy that.
And they brought 99 in, and how big they are. Yeah, that's exactly right. Cameron Goody took the ball in the end zone for.
You also saw 23 Aiden Miller, who you were going to see a lot of at the linebacker spot, and there. But good job running. You see Aiden Miller, 23, one of the lead blockers there, as good runs it into the end zone. So a little bit different than what you were expecting after we saw the first play, but I guess 7 points, or at least 6 with the extra point pending.
Yeah,
and
good goes in for his.
And there's the 7. So that's number 49, Hannah Duncan with the kick, the successful extra point. And with 9:19 to go here in the first quarter, Lakota West 7 and the Fairfield Indians nothing. You see right there, Good, number 25, and he is a solid young man and did a nice job there off to the right side.
Yeah, just a long line of really good Lakota West, running backs. They've had a bunch of them dating back to Mike Level, and since then they've had another come through, and they've had some really good ones. There's one up at Miami right now that graduated a couple years ago, and they just have a long line of good running backs.
And what's interesting with that is, we talked a little bit about a Bolden team and how much they throw the ball, but when push comes to shove, 4th and goal at the 1 yard line, quarterback under center, heavy package, nobody split out, run the ball off tackle for the touchdown.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of, I guess the reason they are throwing the ball is one pass for about 60 yards down to the 5 yard line, and then it took, 4 more rushes to get the ball 5 yards into the end zone. So much more effective with the pass are the Firebirds as they're getting ready to kick off here.
So there's the left footer, number 35, Tyler Bond with the kick. Going to kick it fairly deep inside the 5 yard line. The two return men looked at each other, and fortunately for Fairfield, it bounced into the end zone. And high school, once it makes it past that goal line, whether in the air, on the ground, in the hands, it's considered a touchback.
Everything but the pros, isn't it? Once it goes in the end zone, it's a touchback.
It's a touchback.
Yeah, they're trying to limit the amount of special teams returns there are because of injury and concussion. So they've if the ball anywhere near the end zone on the kickoff or anything, it gets taken back out.
Now the advantage still for the kicking team in high school is it only advances out to the 20 yard line, not like the pros where they come out to the 25, which they're really trying to keep teams from returning it by giving them that option.
Extra 5 yards.
So here we go. We're going to, right off the start here, you're going to see number 8, Talon Fisher, is going to be in the shotgun with one guy behind him. Fakes the ball to number 3 and runs it himself. Number 3 is Jordan Jackson. Was the fake, and then Fisher kept it himself, gained about a yard.
And you're going to see a lot of that run play, the read pass option, because they again, as we said earlier on, Jason Krause loves a very talented, athletic quarterback, and the offense runs through him. So he's going to run the ball a lot. He's going to, he throws it, obviously, and he runs a ton. He's got 6 rushing touchdowns.
So 2nd and 8 for Fairfield from their own 22-yard line. Quarterback's going to reverse pivot.
Pass.
Interesting, as a left-hander. Got a guy wide open deep.
Wow.
Nice catch. Be inside the 40-yard line of Lakota West. Number 17 with the catch.
Brett,
That's Mike Figgins.
It's hard to believe that they got behind the defense that bad. They fake play action and held the defense, and he rolls out of there. But, man, what you want to keep telling your safeties is if a guy's not blocking you, where do you think he's going? If he runs out there fully by you, where do you think he's going to go? Obviously, the West guys got caught looking in the backfield, looking for the run, not reading their keys as the guy runs right by him. And Fairfield ends up with a great play. Nice pass by Taylor.
So first and 10 at the 39-yard line. Running back's going to bounce it out a little bit. Was nothing up the middle for Jackson, but he able to bounce it to the left side and is going to get close to 5 or 6 yards on the play. So pretty good running play.
Yeah, Fairfield quickly into West territory, although the one thing you don't, if you're Fairfield, want to do is turn this into a track meet because you're going to have a hard time scoring a lot on the Lakota West defense.
So 2nd and 5 for Fairfield from the Lakota West 33-yard line. And what was also interesting on that one, that the pass play, it looked a little awkward. Left-handed thrower, he rolled out with a bowed to the right. To his right, and then came back, squared up nice.
Which is not easy. You got to shift your hips, get your shoulders square, and then throw the football. It's very difficult to do, and so Fisher did a good job there. So the 5 yards they just gained there, they're going to lose back on a false start on the offense. So it's going to be 2nd and 10. Kind of another sign of a team not doing so well is penalties. They like you said, they go one step forward, 2 back, They had a 2nd and 5, and now they're, on schedule, as you like to talk about when you're running the football, getting 4 or 5 yards every play. You're on schedule. You got a good, 3rd and short, easy calls to make. When you got 3rd and short, now it's a little tough. Now you got 2nd and 10.
And that's the challenge, right? I mean, and I don't have a stat here showing us the penalty yards this year, but usually when you see a team give up that many points, you're going to find out they extend drives for the opponent.
Well, 2 and 3 teams usually are penalized teams.
So Jackson right to the middle. Nice hold. Ball's loose. Looks like Lakota West is trying to is still loose.
Still loose. Oh,
picked up finally. Cuts back against the grain. That's Jair Brown gone.
Gone. They're not going to catch him.
Look at this, though. So.
Oh, maybe. Oh.
So he is actually down, I think, at the 1 yard line.
Wow.
I believe we're going to get a penalty at the end. Ball was perhaps fumbled in, although I think they're going to say that was part of coming down.
I do got to say, I thought he was gone.
I sure did, but you know what?
Fisher, the quarterback, the athletic kid we talked about with some great speed, tracked him down, had an angle on him.
So we're going to have to see real quick. It was either a horse collar or a face mask. We'll see what they call there.
I'm guessing horse collar because of the way he went down.
Looked like he had him from the back, so officials talking about it here.
I'm just shocked they kept him out. That's the Ohio State recruit, and they kept him out of the end zone. That was a pretty athletic play by Fisher.
It was, and I think I think Brown did a mistake there. That if he would have cut that back up the field, and it would have been the same play. So there you go, the horse collar call.
You got it right there.
So and you know what though? Hey, you kept him out of the end zone. This is going to be a 1 yard penalty. So instead of the ball at the 2, it'll be at the 1. Likely not a significant difference there. You kept him out of the end zone, which means Lakota West has to execute something. And if you remember last time, they got him down to 4th and 1.
And I guess you're going to see Cameron Good here again. Off the left or right side would be my guess. This close, you're going to see some running again.
So that was a nice run, though, by Jordan Jackson. We talked about that, and then the turnover, which we mentioned earlier.
But we talked about
that's what happens.
To begin the game, kind of the keys to the game, Brent, were Fairfield limiting the pass yardage, and they open up with a 65-yard pass, and then kind of limiting your turnovers. And so we got a 65-yard pass for accounting for West's first score. Then they fumble the football after a really good run. The kid probably got 8, 9, 10 yards. And somebody reached in, and popped that ball out, and West takes it the other way. So they got a turnover and a long pass play, and they're already going to be down 14-0.
So here we go. That was a offside on the defense, which moved the ball from the 1 to the half. Looked like the play was going to be Bolden with a little read option to his left. So we'll see what happens here. Same play. Just kind of fakes it and then turns left and steps in. Good good actually surge from the offensive line of Lakota West. You see Tegra Sabola, number 77, another Ohio State commit, claps that side of the down, and Bolden just kind of lunged into the end zone. So
Bolden, another good runner. He's second in the conference in passing, but he's also probably top 15 in rushing the football, and goes in for another score. So he's dangerous on both sides. As he shows there, as he gets in, he gives West a 13-0 lead. Pending the extra point here is you got Boyd, the left footer, kicking again.
It's interesting with Mitch Bolden. He's listed at 6'2", 190, so he is not an easy mark to take down.
No.
Left footer Bond with the kick this time. So Lakota West continues where they have different. The 1 week we saw 3 kickers.
Well, they used to go with 2. They have been using Hannah Duncan a lot, the girl.
And she cooked the first field goal.
Yeah, and she's kicking, a lot of extra points for them, and they sped it forward.
So, Dan, we're going to see this fumble again here. There's Jackson. As you mentioned, nice run, made it 7-8 yards.
Right there, who was it?
99, Brian Henderson was one of the guys that.
The guy in the back there, he kind of went out of the picture, but he's the one that kind of forced that fumble. And then Jair just
nice cut back there.
Yeah, there. Now, like you're saying, if he'd have cut right down
there,
the middle,
he could have straightened it out, and
he could have straightened out probably. Yeah, but that's very quick of that quarterback to catch up to him. That's amazing that he.
I think that's actually Nate Hanna, number 9, that makes the play for them. One of their leading wide receivers. Did a nice job though. Didn't give up on the play, and like I said, didn't matter in the result, but it does, right?
Yeah,
just effort. It shows something, and you know what? Anytime you make a team have to snap the ball.
So that wasn't 8 that made that. You're right.
Yep.
Okay, wide receiver.
And then here's the touchdown. We're going to see Bolden just roll to his left.
Good
kind of a counter step. It actually didn't.
Not much of a fake.
Yeah, back didn't even come forward. I think that was pretty obvious. He was keeping the ball.
Yeah, obvious.
So here we go. Bond going to go ahead and kick off again with 6:51 to go, and Lakota West up 14.
So a good start for the Firebirds.
Reminiscent a little bit of Princeton, where they just jumped right on them in the first half. See what happens here. Number 9 for Fairfield. solid run, but as is tough, that got him to the 21.
Yeah, well, they got good coverage, and again, Bolden. One of the I think trademarks for Bolden, Coach Bolden is, even when he's at Coleraine, every aspect of the game is really well coached. I mean, there's no weakness on the special teams. I think he's probably got some starters out there and some really good athletes. A lot of times you use sophomores and things like that. And that's when you give up a touchdown. Not so with Bolden. His special teams are very, very well coached, very well put together, and they don't give up a lot of yardage on special teams.
So ball's moved back to the 20-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10. That return man there was that same guy who made the tackle, Nate Hanna. Here we go, handoff to the left side. Number 20 got a little room. Aiden Miller, 23, wraps him up. But that's going to be, we'll see where they spot him. But
7 yards or so.
Yeah, it looks like it.
I got to tell you, their offense is moving the football against West pretty good for as good a defense as West is. Fairfield, I mean, even on that fumble, they had gained 7, 8, 9 yards.
And that was number 20, another sophomore, just like the quarterback out there. So, I mean, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, kind of rebuilding for Fairfield.
We'll see what happens.
That quarterback's athletic. He's good. He's a good ball player.
So they're going to spot him for a 6. So it'll be 2nd and 4 here for Fairfield. Fisher back to throw. Quick throw to Hanna.
Well, he put that right there. I wonder if we're going to call that pass interference. It was very close. I mean, Fisher put that ball where only his guy could catch it, but it looked like there was contact there.
See what they call here. That's number 9, Malik Hartford, involved in the tackle. We're going to see it real quick here. So 2 receivers went downfield.
No one touched him. Well, I don't know. 11 or 4 was blocking the receiver.
So an eligible man downfield. So we've got 2. We've got an ineligible man. So here's what we have, Dan. The guy that caught the ball was covered on the line. So he was not eligible. So they made 2 calls on him. The first one, he was ineligibly downfield. The second one, he was the first person to touch the ball, which is an illegal touch. So that's the penalty they accepted. It didn't matter. They're both 5-yard penalties.
The worst thing for Fairfield is themselves. They keep shooting themselves right in the foot. Right after a good gain on the ground, then they run a pass play and make some problems. You're right that he was covered.
What does that mean exactly, Dan? Sure, I guess we throw that out, but what does that mean?
What?
That he's covered.
Oh, you cannot have the last guy on the line have to be uncovered. If there's a guy, if you have a tight end and he's covered by a wide receiver, he's now ineligible. He's an interior lineman at that point. So the last guy on the line is the only guy eligible.
On each side, and everybody else has to be a step back.
Yes.
There we go. So they're going to try to run the wide play on 3rd down. And, again, the key to that, so the reason Lakota West took that penalty versus the other one is it's a loss of down and 5 yards. So that's why it became 3rd and 10. And now with the 5-yard run, it's going to be 4th and 5.
Yeah, it's interesting. I remember Red Grange talking about not much done in football differently. I mean, there's 7 guys on the offensive line. There's 4 in the backfield. And there ain't a whole lot you can do with that. A whole lot different. I mean, it's all you can do. You can only have 7 men on the line. 2 on each end are eligible. And then in the backfield, everybody's eligible, obviously, to catch a pass in the backfield. But, the defense knows that.
So I think what we have here is that the coach, Jason Krause for Fairfield, thought that was still 2nd down. He didn't realize that they had signaled that there were 2 penalties. The one they took was a loss of down penalty.
Well, yeah, you got to be aware of that kind of stuff. Look at the scoreboard. You got to have your coaches tell you that. And that was an interesting play call on 3rd down.
Yeah, you see that a lot where the scoreboard or the line marker might be off, and people make decisions based on that. But in this case,
it was correct.
It was at least the line marker was, the down marker was correct.
Yeah, I think he believed he just had, replay it down. He obviously didn't listen to the call from the official who's going to tell you what it doesn't matter what the down marker says. Nothing matters other than what the official says. There's a good look at Bolden talking to the official right there, the head lineman, as Coach Bolden's talking to him about what just happened.
So unsurprisingly, after that, discussion, it is still 4th down. So it'll be 4th and 5 for Fairfield from their own 25-yard line. See them back to punt.
Well, everything kind of been folding West's way right now, and Fairfield continues to be its own worst enemy.
Pretty solid pressure there. Decent punt. They're going to let it bounce. Now, that's the one thing. Brown always plays it kind of interesting back there. He never gets too far away from the ball. He does let it bounce. Solid punt down to the 32-yard line, 1st and 10 Lakota West. So with 4:46 to go, still here in the first quarter, Lakota is up 14-0.
Yeah, so as you say, Brent, Fairfield, very young, have the makings of a very good football team. They're probably going to be pretty good. They're well coached. I mean, obviously, good punter. They got good athletes. They just are kind of killing themselves right now. Otherwise, they'd be right in this football game, and you'd have a good football game. And I'm guessing that's kind of what they've done all year long, is have some sophomore mistakes. And one of the things they've always said is, I've always heard in high school, is based on the number of sophomores you have starting, for each one of those, count them as a loss. So if you have 3 sophomores starting, you'll have 3 losses.
So Bolden, quick pass. Nice job there from Trent Lloyd. If you notice, they gave him a lot of cushion, and Bolden saw it, threw it, got the ball out to Trent Lloyd. Trent Lloyd's a solid receiver, solidly built, very good with the ball after the catch. So getting him the ball 3 or 4 yards downfield, not a surprise that he's able to advance it for 10 or 11 yards and a first down.
Yes.
We're going to see the replay there again. You'll see Lloyd. He's a gentleman that's hard to hit flush. There's good with the run on the outside for another first down. Lloyd, that was interesting. I mean, he went down very early in the St. X game on the kick return. And, that's a challenge. He's definitely a difference maker. Here's Good again on the handoff. A lot of penetration from Fairfield, but Good got right through it. Nice block on the outside there.
Found
you see
some seam right behind him. Got underneath that rush, and once he got underneath it, he was out in the secondary pretty quickly. So, nice run.
1st and 10 from the Fairfield 44. Still 4:16 to go in the game. Bolden still back in the shotgun. Going to take the ball. Is going to fake the handoff. Nice, pretty good pickup from Cameron Good, but bad throw. And throws right to the defender for an interception inside the 20-yard line. He's going to advance it out to the 25. That's going to be 1st and 10 for Fairfield. That's number 21. That's Race Fataki. His brother, Justers Fataki, was 20. We saw run the ball earlier.
And there you go. That's what we talked about. I mean, if you're going to be Fairfield and be in this game, that's what they got to do. They got to shut down the pass. That was a really bad pass. I don't know if he felt the pressure, not if it slipped out of his hand, but that was a very poor pass. And now Mitch with 4 interceptions on the year, and he's got to be careful with that.
Yeah, that's one of those weird ones because, it was significantly away from any of it. They had a couple of receivers downfield, but neither very close to where that ball ended up. Well, so I don't know if it – and there was a rusher in his hands or in his face a little bit there. We saw a pretty solid pickup by Good, but maybe it was enough that he was distracted by it.
Well, Brent, as you and I know, nice play right there.
That was a really nice play by number 32, Owen Kaufman.
Got in, made a great play on that as a great repass option. Fisher kept the ball, and you're going to see 32 just break through and make a great play from his linebacking spot.
What's interesting, as we saw from the defensive backfield, number 11, Jason Asbeck, came. 2 guys picked him up. Kaufman went right inside of all of them and threw him for a 3-yard gain or 3-yard loss. Yeah. So nice play from Kaufman.
But Brent, one of the things you got to know, if you're going to win the state, and that is obviously Coach Bolden's goal was to take this team and win the state. They were very close last year and lost on the last play of the game, primarily to St. X. You ended up winning the state. So if you're going to do it, you can't turn the ball over against a good team. Possession is so important.
So here we go. We're going to see a solid run up the middle. Going to get about 4 or 5 yards.
Yeah.
I think that's Jackson again with the run.
But
taken down by a host of players. Saw Asbeck come all the way around the outside. Number 2, Afari, involved in the tackle as well.
What I was saying before is possessions are very – you don't get many, and you can't turn them around. And that's the one thing Mitch Bolden really has to get better at. He's got 4 fumbles, now 4 interceptions. That's 8 potential possessions that you're not going to go score on.
And we're not talking about the ability to beat most of the teams on the schedule. We're talking about when you get into November in the playoffs.
When you're in the play, you cannot turn the football over at all and expect to win those football games.
And really, the St. X game, right? There were 2 turnovers inside the 10-yard line.
Well, that's right. He had a pick 6 in that, and that's one of the turnovers. That's a 12-point turnaround or 14 when you figure you're not scoring a touchdown, and they are when you pick 6 it. So it's a problem. It brings up another 4th down. So the West defense holds again.
Yeah, they only gave up 3 yards in the 3 plays. That was Fisher rolling out left and was able to avoid the rush, but threw the ball well over the covered receivers.
But to your point, Fairfield got off schedule early in that by the sack, and the 3-4 yard loss right off the bat on 1st down. That puts you behind schedule, and it's really tough to come back against a good defense.
And that was the nose tackle. I mean, the nose tackling the quarterback on a rollout play.
Usual.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe it was that they thought he was leaning left and he came to the right and they let him go, but gosh, hard to be very successful. There's the ball caught in the air by Brown. Really a nice job to catch it.
Yeah, that was scary.
Not sure it was the greatest decision, but hey, he made the catch. Really.
Yeah, it's the only thing that's going to beat West right now is kind of dumb turnovers like that, where if he'd have dropped that and the ball gets down there and Fairfield scores, that shouldn't happen. Again, those are things you want to talk about. So I'm sure the coaching staff will have a conversation with him about that. But it's hard to take away the aggressiveness of a player too, especially a Division I player.
And when you've got Brown and Afari playing both offense and defense, because they are so good with the ball in space.
Absolutely,
it's hard to take that out of their out of the repertoire, right?
That's just them, not touch the ball.
That's just how they think.
They're there because you want them to touch the ball.
So here we go. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 34-yard line of Lakota West. Still up 14-0 with 2:22 to go. Looks like that's going to be a false start on Lakota West, so they're going to have to start with a 1st and 15. Gotcha. And they've, after those first 14 points, even going back to the catch by Afari that was put on the ground that they had to work pretty hard to get in the end zone.
Right.
They've not been very clean so far this half with penalties and a turnover and another ball on the ground that they recovered.
Yeah, so far there's going to be a lot to talk about, and they're giving up some pretty good chunks of yardage on the running game. I mean,
so kind of
there's Molden on the keeper.
A nice run there, and the ball's going to be loose out of bounds. So
there you go. That's what we're talking about. There's his 5th fumble. Luckily, he didn't turn it over.
So what we're going to see there is they fake that end around or the jet sweep. Pulled everybody. He pulled the ball back, went right up the middle.
Right, in high school, does that go back to where you fumbled it, or does that go to where it went out?
It does. It's where it went out here.
It goes out of bounds is where.
Yep. Okay. You're going to see where it rolled out there at the 48-yard line.
The fumble will advance.
The fumble can be advanced. Yeah, there you go. So, it was, and that was very intentional from 24 from Fairfield, the defensive back. Ray Coney, he came up and, he really spiked down on the ball and knocked it loose. Fortunately for Lakota West, it went right out of bounds.
Yeah, so one thing you don't want to get is a reputation for turning the ball over because they will do that to you. They'll be taught to do that all week.
Here we go. Back to pass again. Good pressure from the outside. That was. It looked like it was Good's man again on the left side, and it didn't work very well there. So Bolden, who was looking to go deep, and if you notice, there were only 2 receivers downfield, and they were both 30 yards downfield.
And both covered pretty well. That was a coverage sack, really. Bolden couldn't get rid of the ball very quickly. Had to hold on to the ball, and unfortunately for the Firebird, he was sacked for about a 4 or 5 yard loss, which, again, off schedule. Now you're 2nd and 15, although it didn't hurt him too bad as Bolden ran for the first down, 15-yarder last time.
So here we go, Bolden on the 2nd and 15. See what they do a little bit different here. Coach Bolden was not real happy. Just a quick pass out to Brown. Brown's going to gain most of that 5 yards back. Maybe he's going to get an extra yard or 2. So you're going to be third and 8.5.
A little bit more manageable, getting 6 yards, 5 yards of that back. So now you're 3rd and 10.
And it gets interesting here with this play. It's going to be 3rd and less than 10. Inside Fairfield territory, you got a lot of options here because you may go for it on 4th down. I know it's still a minute to go in the first quarter. Your defense has played really well. I could see if you could get 5 or 6 yards here, right? This might be when you throw the ball to your receiver for 3-4 yards, see if you can get it.
They've been running the ball double wide outs to each side. Maybe see something, one of the guys clear out, and then one of the receivers come underneath.
So we'll see what they do, 2 by 2. Looks like all the receivers went deep, and then they're nice catch. You see Trent Lloyd again. Yeah, that was a good throw. At first I thought it was going to be a little bit low, but a nice job of Lloyd. He got all the way down, got his arms underneath it.
Well-designed play. He sent everybody deep and cleared out the coverage and then brought a man underneath and were able to get him for the first down. So a nice design play.
So it's 2 by 2, right? 2 receivers each way. He was the inside guy on the right side, and when the outside guy ran everybody off, he did a little bit of an out pattern.
Yeah, it's a great play.
And a really nice catch. Here we go.
Bolden did a nice job delivering it where only his guy can catch it.
1st and 10 at the 34-yard line. Good right back up the middle. Nice run. Boy, I tell you, he followed number 30 on that play. That's Gonzalez Jr. out of the backfield with him. His lead, looked like the traditional fullback, tailback following the fullback. He followed him right through the hole, and I think he went untouched before, for what, 10.
He's like a cannonball being shot through that line. He's hard to bring down. People look like they were reaching out trying to grab him around the waist, and he just ran through.
You're gonna see Gonzalez again. 30 came in motion. He's in the middle. He's gonna, was faking the lead. Nice hit. But Lloyd's gonna have a 1st and goal for Lakota West at the 1st-yard line. Nice throw and catch. I think Lloyd expected to get in the end zone. The guy from behind him did put a good hit on him, but he's just like, I caught it, and it's a 1st and goal. What's the deal?
Here we are again. Starting to become normal. See West down here on 1st and goal.
And that's the end of the first quarter with Lakota West leading Fairfield 14-0.
So they're going to try and open the second quarter by scoring in a different end zone. They've scored twice down there, so why not go down here and score one? But I love that slant play in high school. It's almost indefensible if you throw it right and you run the right pattern.
So we're going to head out. We're going to head out of here, Dan, for the commercial break here with End of the first quarter, Lakota West 14, Fairfield nothing. So here we are back at Lakota West Firebirds Stadium. We're just between the first and second quarters here. Lakota West is first and goal at the 1 yard line once we get out of the break and start again. They're leading 14-0. Dan, anything different than what we expected?
No, as we said before, the way to stop Lakota is stop that air attack, and they're not doing it. I mean, Bolden, I think, has only had one incompletion today, so that's very strong. And they're adding to it with the run game. I mean, Goody's running the ball really well whenever he gets the football, and Bolden right behind him. They've each picked up good yardage off of that. So, you know, it's interesting, but, you know, I haven't seen anything yet. I mean, the keys to winning for West is throwing the football like they've been doing all year, and they've done that. Opened up the game with a great pass and almost scored on it without the fumble. And then they ran the football. You know, they've got 2 rushing touchdowns, and I'm sure they're looking at a 3rd rushing touchdown right here. No reason to put the ball in the air right now on first down.
So here we go. Bolden back in the shotgun. He's going to keep it right up the middle into the end zone. So, of course, that's that read, right? Yeah. Fakes the running back to the left, and he just takes it straight up the middle. Nice job, and want to compliment that offensive line. He's, for the most part, they've been doing a pretty good job here, right?
Yeah, there's nobody on the left side here.
We're just going to see it. You're going to see Tager 77 crash down. You're going to see a nice pull there from number 30 again, Gonzalez.
Short yardage goes in untouched.
Yeah,
goes in the end zone completely untouched.
We've seen several nice blocks from 30. I guess he's in that H-back position, if you want to say. He comes in motion and stops somewhere in the backfield as the lead block.
Well, I'll tell you, this is a high school coach, myself. You block that well, you're going to play a lot. I mean, he's going to get a lot of playing time on that football field if he goes out and blocks. And I'm sure he'll get a lot of looks from colleges because anybody can find a good running back. You go down here and you turn right and go to your first high school you see, and they'll have a leading rusher. You go left and you go to the first high school you see, they'll have a leading rusher. But it's very hard to find guys that are willing to block and do it well. So that'll do well for a college application potentially if he's out there, out there listening. Gonzalez doing a great job, and coaches see that on film and they'll take a look at him.
So that was Hannah Duncan with the extra point this time again. So that's 2 of the 3 for her. We're going to see Bond kicking off again. Bolden with another rushing touchdown, his 2nd in a row. So with still 11:57 to go in the second quarter. 21-0.
I wonder how Coach Bolden feels about using multiple kickers. I mean, that's Joe Spatafora is the kicking coach, and that's his call. But I'd be interested to hear what his thoughts are on using multiple kickers. I mean, he's more of a traditional type coach. He would use 1 kicker, I would imagine. But they're using 2, which is good because if one of them gets hurt for whatever reason, you got a second. You're not giving up anything, and both of them very capable of kicking the extra points and field goals.
So here we go. Bond is going to kick off, and I do see the Lakota West medical tents up there. I don't know. Did Dr. Rosen go in there with one of the players?
I did not notice that.
So here goes Bond's kick, and nice kick through the end zone.
Wow.
So that will be a touchback. Fairfield will start again at their own 20-yard line.
Boy's got a strong leg.
And, that's the tough thing. Even with the interception, they haven't had great field position at this point.
No. And when they have, they've fumbled. They've turned the ball over. I mean, they got the ball down to about the 30-35 on, and then just unfortunately fumbled after a penalty.
So do you expect anything different here, Dan, from the –
Fairfield's got to do something to hold on to the ball to give that defense a rest. They've been on the field a little too much based on turnovers and 3 and outs. So if you want to try and stay in this game and have a chance to come back and win after halftime, they're going to have to get some first downs here. They got to figure out a way. And I'd keep the ball on the ground. I mean, the ground has been pretty good to them. They've been getting ball, and there goes Fisher on the run. So
good run.
Good run.
5 or 6 yards there. So what do you think, Dan? I mean, has the challenge been Fairfield's mistakes, or has it been Lakota West defense?
I think it's Fairfield's mistakes mainly. I mean, they have, Fairfield's just making a lot of mistakes, putting themselves in yardages you don't want to do. They fumbled the football, and West picked it up, alertly, and ran the ball back to the 1 yard line. But the bottom line is Fairfield's making the mistakes. They're fumbling the ball. They're, right now they'll get a good 5-6 yard carry, and then they get a procedure call or something that puts them back 5 yards. So, I mean, right now it's not really West winning this football game as much as Fairfield's losing it.
So Fairfield there again, a 6-yard gain on first down.
Although, Brian, you got to give West credit. They're taking advantage of the opportunities.
And that's the thing. I mean, it's obviously always a combination, right? I mean,
right.
But the offense definitely, the turnovers and penalties have seemed to be a little bit of self-inflicted.
Well,
But now there's another nice play. I see 32.
Yeah, look at our corner blitz almost that caused him to run outside and caught him from behind.
At number 11, Jacob Asbeck has come off that outside from the defensive backfield quite a few plays. And I think it definitely is confusing the blocking. Fairfield just lost an offensive lineman to injury. That probably didn't help either. Kaufman, 32 at the nose, has really been impactful, getting some penetration in there on that's 2 or 3 plays that he's really helped screw it up. At a minimum, it eliminates the option, right? You can't go to the other side because he's already right there.
Well, he's going for the quarterback. He's not even checking other ball carriers. I mean, as soon as he gets penetration, he looks for that quarterback.
So, wow, that's a real. He must have heard us talking about him.
Yeah,
that's a really nice play from Kaufman. You're going to see he engaged with the center, didn't get much there, kept moving. Guard had to come down and double on him. Didn't give up there either. He continues for the sack. So watch this right in the middle, 32. Now there's a second guy trying to get him. Lineman didn't know what's going on, and Kaufman was able to look through him, see the quarterback still, with the ball.
But that's not the offensive line's fault. He ran outside the pocket. There's nothing the O-line can do about that. Once the quarterback takes off outside the pocket, he's on his own, and he did that. And Kaufman, I think,
really nice play.
Yeah, I think the coaches must have talked to him. Well, that's not good.
We're going to see what happens there. I think the punter slipped as he was kicking it, hit a line drive.
Turned out okay.
Yeah, it turned out okay. A 4th and 13 from inside the 20. It's going to get a 33-yard net. So here we'll see it. Goes to his right. Did have some solid pressure. And ball landed at his own 35, advanced all the way to the Lakota West 49-yard line, 48-yard line.
That was your typical line drive, as you say. Lucky that West did not, somebody from West didn't get hit in the back by it. So
a 34-yard net punt. I think you'll take that from inside your own 20.
Especially after that. Yeah, that was tough.
Here we go, though, with 9:53 to go, 21-0 Lakota West, and 1st and 10 at the 48-yard line.
More good field position for Lakota West. They've had some great field position opportunities. In fact, a couple times starting inside their own 5, or the other Fairfield's 5.
Do want to give some props to that offensive line. You see some pretty good, look at that. You can see some pretty good surge there from the offensive line. I see 55, Eric Cifuentes. I see 77. That's Tegra Shaboa. I see 73. With nice play there. That is Lathan McComas. 76 involved in the play out there. That's Connor Snowden.
You want to give him credit wherever possible, because I've yet to see a football team win a football game when they didn't control the line of scrimmage, and they're controlling the line of scrimmage. Actually, both lines of scrimmage right now.
So here we go. That was a gain of 6. Bolden back, take the shotgun snap. Fakes the quick out, sees the pressure, and he avoids it, and is going to end up getting a first down. He's going to gain another, 8 or 9 yards himself. And that's the thing. He is, it's not like the old days, right, where your quarterback was not a runner. Boy, if they had to scramble, you were just hoping that you didn't get a negative. He's an offensive weapon.
Well, he's a huge offensive weapon. Very strong. As you saw 27 crash down on a safety blitz, and he just ran right through him. So didn't even slow him down. Very strong.
1st and 10 at the 38-yard line of Fairfield. You're going to see another quick throw out there to Lloyd. Not much there. We're going to have an interesting play there. A penalty. I'm not sure who grabbed who.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I can't believe they call him pass interference. There was a guy out blocking for him.
So it's going to
thrown on the line.
So it's a hold on Lakota West is what they're going to call.
The guy blocking out there was holding them. So
and that was interesting. A quick throw to Trent Lloyd. We've seen Lloyd do a couple nice things after the catch. That was one of those. They throw it to him right at the line of scrimmage with 1 blocker, 2 defenders out there, and you see if he can make something happen. A pretty good defensive play, and unfortunately the hold penalty there.
Well, the one thing you don't want to see if you're West after picking up the first down is now you got 1st and 20. So you got a long way to go here, and that's a little tough. What do you do here? You run.
That's the thing. When you've got a quarterback who can run, it opens up a lot of things. So here we go again. He's no backs. Quick throw out to Afari. Alex Afari started to make his little spin move before he saw it all the way in. And
just a quick turn in.
Yeah, incomplete. And that was one of those things where you take an athlete, you give him the ball 5-6 yards downfield and see what happens. Unfortunately, he couldn't secure it.
They're trying to make up some of that yardage so they can end up in 2nd and 3rd and manageable to get that first down. Unfortunately, they just can't convert or execute as Afari drops a football. Ball's thrown a little bit low. But let's see what we got here. I mean, you got an empty backfield, so I'm guessing they're going to throw here.
So 2nd and 21, just inside Fairfield territory. Got some good time here. I think I say that Lloyd there, as we talked about him. Wow, he can definitely do something after the catch.
Boy, it was about a 10 or 11-yard gain.
And a defender right there on him.
Yeah, and they just ran right through the kid. I mean, obviously very strong, showing their strength. I mean, they're showing the athletic strength and superiority as West over Fairfield. I mean, the Jimmies and Johnnies, as you always say, Brent.
You're going to see Trent Lloyd here. He's only 5'11", but he's 180, 190 pounds.
He's
Ball
strong.
was tipped, actually. Still made the catch.
Two had the tackle.
Yeah, 2 hands on him.
And Lloyd just runs right through him and gets the first down.
And gets another 3 or 4 yards because he didn't go out of bounds. Right. He's like, yeah, you want to hit me? We'll definitely we'll dance that dance. So 1st and 10 for Lakota West.
That's the thing that's changed in Lakota West is the kids are much more physical and tougher now. Since Bolden's become the coach, they are a lot more physical and tougher group of guys.
So you're going to see a hold again. We're going to have a nice run by Bolden. He's going to advance at about 9 yards, but the holding penalty in the back, we're going to see where they spot it. Looks like we're going to be about 1st and 21 again. So here you're going to see it. I think they're calling on good right there, 25 on the top of the screen. You got a hand on the front and a hand on the back, and with the head official right behind you there, it's so obvious. And so like I said, I think it's going to be about a 1st and 21.
Well, they were able to overcome it the first time, but West trying to do their impressions of Fairfield and hurt themselves with penalties, and they're doing a good job. Just fortunately, they've been able to overcome them with some pretty good plays. The short pass play to Lloyd that turns into a first down. They're going to have to come up with something else. I mean, eventually you're going to run out of those kind of plays. Tough to call 1st and 20.
Well, here's the nice thing. When you see somebody like Lloyd as a receiver, I mean, we've already seen that we've got Brown and Afari out there, incredible Division I, right commit. They got a lot of talented athletes. Got a lot of guys when you get the ball in their hands. Good's done a nice job running the ball, and we see 30 there again. The motion, snap through Bolden's hand. Oh, we'll see what happens here. Who falls on it? The ball bounced around. It is Fairfield's ball.
Fairfield come what they did, number 27.
So they're going to have that at their own 41-yard line, 1st and 10. And, here's one of the challenges you're going to see with this. I think Mitch Bolden, after he thought it was going to hop up and make a play. So instead of just jumping on the ball, he goes ahead and is going to try to field it on the hop. And unfortunately for him, that didn't work. So it is going to be Fairfield ball. So there we go. A turnover, another turnover from the Firebirds. You'd say they're trying to give Fairfield a chance, but Lakota West still leads 21-0 with 7:21 to go here in the second quarter.
Yeah, Hamburger recovered that. Matthew Hamburger for Fairfield after missing Bolden on that nice run. So he atones for getting the football recovered.
There you're going to see Jackson right up the middle again. Nice run. Going to get close to the first down. Looks like he's got it.
Yeah, that's what Fairfield's got to do is just try and run the football and get a couple first downs here, Brent. I mean, they got to hold on to the ball. Their defense has been out there the whole game, and they're not playing bad. And West right there helped with a couple penalties and then snapping the ball over their head. And
we're going to see a replay here. You're going to see number 3, Jackson. Jackson's only got 33 carries on the year coming into this, but over 10 yards a carry. And so right there, exactly what he is, about 10.5 yards on that carry, just what he's been averaging this year. A little bit of miscommunication there. Unfortunate for the Fairfield Indians, he was able to jump on the ball, so it's only going to be a loss of about 3 yards. We're going to see that again. You're going to see what happens here. I'm guessing the center snapped a little early because a lot of people were still talking. There's the quarterback talking to the running back.
Yeah, Jackson's position. His hands are behind. Oh, yeah, he wasn't even ready. Hand behind his back. He's still wiping his hands.
Snap hit him in the right in the chest. But it didn't look like the other linemen were moving yet either. So I'm thinking the center must have fired that ball a little bit early. So advantage for Lakota West. It makes it 2nd and 13 for the Fairfield Indians back inside their own territory. See the motion coming in. They're going to try to run Jackson right up the middle. And I'll tell you what, that is Owen Kaufman in the middle again.
He has been a force of his own tonight.
And the thing is, with a guy playing in the middle or a nose tackle or whatever you want to call it in this defense, typically they're just tying up offensive linemen, right? If they can make 2 guys take them, that helps
what
the
they
team.
Want. Absolutely.
But he's actually made at least 3 or 4 plays in there.
Well, their job in the running game is to maybe get 1 yard across in penetration and try and take out as many offensive linemen as you can, keep them off your linebackers. I mean, your linebackers are who you want stopping.
Here comes Afari 2 off the corner. And, tough break for Fairfield there on a 3rd and 13. decided to run the quarterback around the. It looked like an RPO, had a run option, had a
It
couple
might have
receivers
been.
down.
It might have been a pass, Brent. He just,
Well, that's why I said it was
pressure coming.
It was an
yeah.
RPO, and we had the cornerback Afari blitzed right off that into it. So there was nothing for him to do. I guess props to the defensive coordinator for Lakota West. They called the perfect blitz for the offensive play that Fairfield's trying to run.
Brent, I'm sorry, but that's what I love about Coach Bolden. Coffin playing a great game, number 32, the nose man. And the first guy he sees coming off the field is Coach Bolden. That slaps him on the butt and tells him what a great job he's doing. And I like to see that. I mean, it shows the coach is watching and cares about it and sees what's going on. Another really kind of questionable catch.
So, Brown catches the punt inside his own 20, advances it out to the 25. There's a flag out here on the end. A couple guys got tied up, so I guess we'll have to decide who tied up who.
Waving it off, he picked it up. But Brent, I got to tell you, this is one thing you're not going to be if you're a Lakota West or a Fairfield kid. Man, there's a lot of coachable moments happening here, and I mean the film room is going to be a lively event. Even if West, goes on to win 45-0 or whatever, there's going to be a lot of things here. West is not playing a clean game.
No, with 4:56 to go here in the half, you see the coaches down there for Lakota West, I think, starting at their own 25. I think this is one of those hey, guys, you're up 21-0, but as you said, it hasn't been great. Let's see a good 75-yard touchdown drive. Let's leave in this half.
Yeah, let's do something where we're not shooting ourselves in the foot. Let's not have any more holding calls or fumbles or snaps over the quarterback's head. Let's just get back to basic football. To give the ball to Cameron, he's not going to go anywhere. Good defense by Cole.
And that's for one of the first times there was no push from the offensive line of Lakota West. The running back Good bounced around a little bit trying to find a hole, didn't, and eventually the defense
wasn't a hole there to find.
Yeah, the defense was able to come through one of those gaps and throwing for a 1-yard loss. So it's going to be 2nd and 11 for Lakota West with 4:30 to go.
And Fairfield played that well. Their defensive tackle penetrated 1 foot right in the gap. The Goody was trying to run the ball in, and he couldn't get away from him. I mean, great defense by that Fairfield defensive lineman.
Lakota West spreading the field. You got Lloyd all the way out here almost to the numbers, and on the upside you got Brown almost to the sideline. So probably 45 yards. We're going to see a quick throw to boy, wasn't that nice? So that's Lloyd with about a 13-yard gain. That same, running the slant. They spread him
outside shoulder,
and that's a long throw. Right?
Yes,
they're on the right hash mark. He's thrown it back.
Well, it's thrown well because he's got to worry about the linebackers now. He throws it to his outside shoulder, so he only can catch it. The linebackers come up. If he leads him with that, it might get picked off. I mean, Seven's coming right across.
And you know what? By the the timing was great. By the time he made his play action fake, turned to look, he was on one hash mark and the receiver was already to the other.
Lloyd having a nice game tonight. And that slant in high school football is so difficult to defend.
Bolden's going to throw long here, going to overthrow everybody. You can see the Fairfield defender from the beginning just was running with Brown.
Yeah, step for step, so good defense.
And I think but it makes sense. Lakota West has thrown a lot of short patterns, right? They've thrown a lot of balls to receivers on slants and short, only 5 or 6 yards up, downfield. Good idea sometimes to stretch the defense, right, to make them know that you're willing to go over the top. So by doing that should set up some of those the short plays again. You just keep expecting as the defense, when you keep completing the short ones, the defense is going to step up and step up and step up, and when they do, you want to try to get past them deep.
So that was Rafis Fataki that was on the coverage there. Good job, 21 from Fairfield. Did a nice job on covering Brown.
So here we go. You see a play we've seen several times today, and here goes Good with a nice run downfield inside the 30-yard line. Late flag.
That was absolutely great running on Good's part. Great offensive line blocking, but run to daylight. He sees the hole.
So I'm expecting. So we're going to get a sideline warning on Lakota West.
Okay.
You can see where the flag was. It was the official running down the sideline, chasing the play through the flag because somebody was within the. On this field, it's that red area.
And you see Bolden's not happy, and there's a coach down there that's responsible for that, and I'm sure he's unhappy about that. And it's a good rule. It's a sideline warning against West. And that's a good rule because the officials, running down there, they have to be able to run freely, and they're not looking at the sideline. They're not looking in front. They're running is full speed, trying to stay up with that, watch the thing. And if they run into a Lakota West player, they're going to get hurt. Somebody's going to get hurt, and typically it's going to be an official.
So once again, that was number 30, Gonzalez, with the lead block on the left side. Bolden fake, hands it off to Good, and Good just ran right behind Gonzalez.
But
and
a great cut by Good. I mean, he saw the daylight, good blocking, good, just a well-designed play, well-executed play, and Good just took it right where he's supposed to do with it. He did a really nice job. You see Gonzalez in motion there.
Yeah, comes right in the middle. There's a You could see it's kind of interesting. They were going to see Good just right up the middle for 8 yards on 1st and 10. He's going to advance it close to the 20.
I got to tell you, Brent, I love this. As an old-time guy at football, it's almost basically power eye football. I mean, he's up a little more than a fullback would be, but they're just running right behind him, and there you see another good block.
You see he engaged the guy, and the running back goes right past him for another
Gonzalez
3 yards.
Such a good block. There it is again. He's right there, so why not go right behind him again?
Same thing, and I tell you, Good, very patient, right? He let Gonzalez get through the hole, engage somebody, and then he was able to slide to the right for the first down.
Make a read off that block and go. And, I mean, you know, as much as you'd like to say Good's having a good game running the ball, but just as good as Gonzalez blocking. I mean, you got to give him a lot of credit for this. Number 30, Gonzalez, is doing a heck of a job blocking at the point of attack.
You know, we used to talk about on a lot of offenses when they would be in that,
Power
formation.
eye.
And it used to be, follow the guards. They're going to tell you where the ball's going. In this case, we're old school. Follow the fullback, although in this world he's an H-back.
Yeah.
But follow him because that ball is coming behind him.
Every time they've run the same play twice in a row, they've picked up good yards. Why change it?
Now, what's been interesting is both times after the handoff, you see Bolden fake the jump pass, just, I think, to keep everybody in the loop about that. We'll see what happens here. It's with 2:20 to go. Timeout called. I think they were about to have a delay of game, so timeout Lakota West. Again, 2:20 to go here. Lakota West 21 and Fairfield nothing. So what do you think? I mean, anything?
No, I mean, like I said, there's going to be a lot for Lakota West coaches to kind of clean up after tonight's game. They're probably not. I mean, I don't see Fairfield scoring 21 points the rest of the game. So, I mean, the game's probably, for all intents and purposes, Fairfield or Lakota West's sixth win. But there are many, many coachable moments. I heard the other day when, Alabama barely beat Florida, they said it's a kind of thing that Saban loves because he can coach off of it. He can take him to task, and usually after one of those kind of losses or wins, Alabama comes out and just destroys people. Well, hopefully Bolden can do the same thing here and use this and try and get this all cleaned up. I mean, we're getting, this is 7th game of the season, getting pretty close to playoff time, and you can't be snapping the ball over your quarterback's head at this point.
So I think this is pretty much exactly what Lakota West was looking for, right, when they started this play at their own 25. It's like, guys, touchdown. And there it is, Ben Minnick, number 13. We hadn't seen him yet. He's been a nice receiver this year.
Yes.
But as you've seen, they've been running the ball quite a bit behind Gonzalez with Good.
Well, they do a nice job spreading the football around. I mean, that's probably the 4th or 5th receiver so far that West has thrown to, and just a really nice job. I mean, just runs right down the seam out of basically the inside slot reception. He outruns, the guy covering him, and one-on-one. It looks like Fairfield was running man-to-man coverage, and he just beats him.
But he zipped it right in there as well.
Yeah.
So here we go back with with Bond as the kicker as we continue to alternate who's kicking the extra points.
Exactly. Well, they're not going to get tired, right? I mean, not that you get tired kicking the football, but they're definitely not going to. Spatafora is running 2 different kickers out there and giving 2 different kickers points. So
2:15 to go, 28-0 here in the second quarter for Lakota West. That was important, right, Dan? I mean, Lakota West was up 21-0. They hadn't been clean, penalties, turnovers, all those things. You could tell when they started with the ball at their own 25 after the punt. The coaches went out there and it looked like they were having that heart-to-heart with the offense. 75 yards, about 2.5 minutes. That's the first clean, good mix of running, a couple passes. Right. Just a really nice drive.
Really good job. And, West is kind of leaning on them and running the ball, and that's going to show up in the second half as Fairfield's going to really get tired out on their defense and trying to, slow down and stop West. So, right now, if Fairfield wants to have any chance of being in this game, they're going to have to score on this possession. There's 2:15 left in half, and they're going to have to try and get some points here. So they're going to have to try and flip, and that's a tall task against West.
That's a tall task.
Because West has some Division I defensive backs that are, not allow that to happen. You got to keep going to Ohio State. You got to keep going to Kentucky. And some other good safeties that probably going to go on to college, and I'm telling you, that's going to be tough to do.
A little bit shorter kick picked up by
is that the
Nate.
quarterback?
No, that's Nate Hand. That's that same guy before.
9, okay.
Nice run, still on his feet. Great effort. Great effort. Is going to take the ball out to the 38-yard line. That's a really nice effort.
Yeah.
I think that's number 9.
It is
right?
number 9.
Nate Hanna. We've seen him a couple times so far as a receiver, but he was the one again who stopped the Brown at the 1-yard line the one time.
Well, Hanna's quite the athlete. I mean, he ran down Division I Ohio State commit, ran him down, off the fumble recovery, and now he's done a good job on a punt return or a kickoff return where he got great yardage and just kind of ran through people and by people and over people. So quite the athlete's number 9 for Fairfield.
So if you're Fairfield, I mean, right, you're in good field position. You got 2 minutes to go. You want to try to establish something. Interesting, they got it 3-by-1, right? 3 receivers out wide, 1 out left, 1 in the backfield. So just the 5 base interior linemen here. That looks like a recipe for disaster. They're going to run the ball with only 5 guys blocking. I see Brian Henderson, 99. You know what? Davis, Kaufman, Henderson as the 3 guys on the defensive line. I'm not sure 5-on-3 you're going to be able to beat them.
They're not.
And then you add the linebackers into the equation. I'm not sure spreading everybody out and trying to run the ball against with 5 blockers.
They're double teaming Kaufman pretty much every down, and he's breaking through and breaking it up. And the great thing about that is they're keeping the offensive linemen off the linebackers, which is their job, and it allows them free roam to go make tackles.
So a half-yard gain on the play. It'll be 2nd and 9 for Fairfield. Fisher takes the snap, a little bit high, fakes. He's just going to throw it deep. You're going to see, I think that's 20. Let's see who it is. Yeah, it's 21, Josh Fussell down there. Ran stride by stride with the receiver.
Yes.
Number 10 was running downfield. That's Christian Jackson, but there was no room. Quarterback Fisher threw it down there, but there was nothing.
Now, he was blanket covered. And again, as we said before, the strength of this defense before tonight. I mean, this is the first time I've seen this defensive line play the way they're playing. They're playing well.
They're playing well. You can see that
better.
This is going to be interesting here with the. With 3rd and 9, you're going to see number 11, Jacob Aspect, actually lined up on the end. So
got trips to your right.
Yeah, they took the nose tackle out. It's more of a lot of pressure. Good throw. Was going to be close to a first down, but he wasn't able to secure it. Afari, I believe, was involved a little bit in keeping that ball from being caught. So it's going to be 4th and 9 for Fairfield. You started out with good field position and unfortunately couldn't make anything happen. Quarterback, good throw.
Yeah, he should have
the hands of number 4 there, Karen.
But I think
Love.
Afari got in there and knocked that out. I mean, that was a good play by Afari. That's why he's going Division I. He's just such a special athlete. And the defensive backs were really good. Are they going for it here?
Looks like right up the middle. Wow. So that was punter was lucky again to get it off. It's going to be down to about the 36-yard line of Lakota West, maybe the 37. Well, so a minute 7 to go, Dan. 28-0 here in the second quarter. If you're Lakota West, do you push hard to try to score here?
Oh, absolutely. I would not be surprised to see Coach Bolden go for a long, play action, kind of long pass to Afari or Brown.
And at a minimum, right, your 2-minute drill, your 1-minute drill, right, you need to be able to, there might be a time before the season's over.
Well, in high school football, that would put it away. They'd be up 30, running clock at that point in the second half. So the game would essentially be over. And I'm sure Bolden knows that, and he will be trying to do that. He's not going to he's not that kind of coach. I don't think he's going to just quit trying right here. He's got a minute 7. He can put the game away with this.
So Bolden back. He's just going to quick throw out to the outside to Lloyd. It's only going to be good for about 5 yards, but out of bounds outside the 40. Right? It's a long run, long running play. Really, you got about a 5-yard gain.
Yeah, stop the clock. So it just goes to show you, though, he's going to go for it. He's not going to sit back on his laurels and just take 28-0 lead into halftime. He's looking for 35 and a running clock in the second half.
Well, and 2 things to think about. We've already seen Lloyd after the catch can make things happen. And the second thing is that also sets up him going a little bit deeper, right? If you have to honor the fact that he may throw the short route.
And, the nice thing, Brent, about getting a 30-point lead in the second half, having a 35-0 lead, is you get to take your players out. You don't risk injury. So one thing you got to worry about here is, kid, you got a big lead. Kids kind of light up a little bit, and that's where you get an injury, and you don't want to do that. So it'll allow Coach Bolden to take out his starters and avoid those injuries and get some playing time for his JV kids if you got a running clock on a 35-point lead.
It's funny. It was a false start there on Lakota West. I was watching the Manning broadcast of Monday Night Football. I don't know if you've seen it with Peyton and Eli Manning.
I have seen that, yeah.
And, of course, they were just talking about wide receivers can never get a false start, never jump. They're like, all they do is watch the ball. There's nobody.
You really can't even hear the cadence.
There's no reason for them to ever jump. Oh, wow, nice play. I tell you what, that was an outstanding play by Bolden. Bolden was back to pass, was looking around trying to
that, and I don't think that's a good call. Brown got up and started dancing, ran right into the safety. I think this is a bad call. He didn't try. Number 5's pleading his case, but they threw the flag on a late hit, and 5 was just standing there, and Brown got up and ran into him.
So let's look at that again. We had We're going to see Bolden avoids the sack, keeps his eyes downfield and finds Brown right in the middle.
It's a great
So
play.
watch this. He's back here inside his own 30. Good pressure off the end again. The guy's able to slip inside good. A guy coming straight in his face, and he finds a guy 15, 18 yards downfield.
Now see, he's trying to stop there. If you'd have ran that forward, you'll see that the safety was trying to stop. He gets a 15-yard penalty. Watch the safety come up and just stop. He stops, and Brown jumps into him, and he just kind of pushes him off of him. Like,
yeah, I think it was just the hand there. And if you wonder why was Brown jumping up, the clock, the first down would stop. The clock's running. We're under a minute to go.
But, I mean, that was not a penalty, although they assessed it. Now West in business. And that was a heck of an extension of the play of Bolden.
Oh, I think that's a fumble. Picked up. It dropped. Picked up again by Fairfield. So Fairfield's still on his feet. Bolden in on the tackle. So it's going to be first down for Fairfield with 30 seconds to go here in the second quarter, just inside the 50-yard line. That's number 2, Kavi Bivens.
Yeah, Mitch really has to clean this stuff up, Brent. I mean, he can't get – that's his 5th fumble.
And sometimes the play's just not there, right?
Right.
Sometimes you have to accept
it and take the next play. That's what the Seahawks quarterback does really well. Russell Wilson, just live another day. You're going to get sacked. Why get the ball out there? Just tuck that ball and take the sack. Live the next play. The next play. Live for second down.
And if you saw what happened, he slid up under the end who was being blocked by the running back, so he did a good job there. And then we saw the defensive lineman, because the quarterback was so far to the left, was able to step outside of Taylor Shabola.
Right. Again, running out of the pocket.
Hard to blame the offensive lineman. He's blocking with his butt toward the pocket. And when when he sees the defensive lineman going around him, he's like, okay, what? Oh, the quarterback's there.
If you're going to run away from him, that's fine. But
so we'll see what Fisher
runs out of the pocket. It's his problem. It's his
fault.
Fisher
back to pass. He's going to scramble and run. He's going to get a gain. Tries to cut it inside. He does get out of bounds at the Lakota West 46-yard line. I mean, this could be huge, right? 23, and I get it. It's 28-0. It's not like Fairfield's coming all the way back, but this could be huge to make at least that game.
Big momentum thing here is if you just get some points. If you go in with not a goose egg, if you get 3 on there, I don't know what kind of field goal kicker they have, and looks like Fisher's limping a little bit there, but yeah, if you can get some points out of this, there's only 23 seconds left, so you got to look for some sidelines, or as you say in high school. When you get a first down, the clock stops, so maybe a slant for a 10, 15-yard over the middle play stops it, and you come up and clock it.
So here we go. It's going to be 2nd and 3 for Fairfield in Lakota West territory. 23 seconds to go. Ball's knocked loose. Fumble. We see the beanbag thrown down. Lakota West picks it up. Still on his feet. That's Aiden Miller, number 23. Still on his feet. It's going to be knocked out of bounds. So Coach Bolden is so here's what we have. We have a fumble on Fairfield. You saw the beanbag. It's advanced by Aiden Miller, number 23 for Lakota West, inside the 20-yard line. We are going to have a penalty on Lakota West for a sideline since they've already had a warning. We're actually going to get sideline interference over here, which I'm sure Coach Bolden's not going to be happy.
No.
And we're at 12 seconds to go, so they're going to unfortunately move the ball back. Now this is going to get interesting. So,
incomplete pass.
So the odd thing is he threw the beanbag.
Yeah, well, they must have, just didn't know what the call was going to be. Looks like the back judge called it incomplete, but the other guy didn't know if it was a fumble or not, so he throws the beanbag just being, out of precaution, which is smart. Obviously, you don't want to try and...
And remembering in high school, right, there's no replay, so the officials got together. This is the call they made. This is the call. Now what's going to be interesting is it's actually a penalty on Lakota West. So we're going to advance. So, again, 12 seconds to go, so that doesn't change what we have on the clock. It's going to be Fairfield ball here. So, yeah, they have to walk the penalty off.
Yeah, you would think they'd want to put some time back on the clock when you have a, incomplete pass. The ball should have been dead right there. But without replay, how can you figure out what time, how much to put back on? Unless you have a guy, maintaining the clock on the field.
Quarterback drops the ball this time. He's going to be tackled for a loss.
That'll end it.
Yeah, 10 seconds to go. See what happens here. If Fairfield, I don't know why they wouldn't take a timeout. They still have 3 left, so they do. 7 seconds to go. But, you're inside Lakota West territory. You're now on second down. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would just send 3 guys right out wide, 1 down the middle and 2 out wide, and just throw the ball up, maybe get a penalty, maybe get, a catch and a lucky touchdown. You never know.
So I will presume that we're going to see Lakota West with a very deep defensive lineup
Oh,
here.
yeah. You're going to see 3 or 4 backs back around 20, 25 yards.
And they've got some talented athletes back there. So this usually portends well for for the defensive athletes. So we'll see what happens here as Fairfield, if they can draw something up over there. Turf field, so they can't get in the dirt and mark anything up, but we'll see what happens.
Looks like Bolden was rarely agreeing with an official there. You don't see that too often, but he was agreeing with whatever he said. He shake his head, and official walked away.
Well, you talked about this earlier. It's nice to be up 28-0 and have a lot of coaching points.
Yes.
To be able to have a lot of things to talk about.
I mean, there's fumbles, bad snaps, penalties. I mean, there's going to be a full film room for Lakota West tomorrow. When they come in, they're going to get their earful. I remember when I used to play for Moeller, we beat Purcell 66-0 and spent 2 hours in the film room just getting screamed at. And so good coaches will use every opportunity to coach you up.
So you'll see safeties both downfield quite a bit. They're going to complete it across the middle, get a play and play. We'll see if they're able to get a timeout. It's going to be close.
I see 3 zeros on the clock.
We're just going to see. I see the official on the far side is claiming a timeout with time on the clock.
Oh, they did. So they're going to give him an untimed snap.
So coincidentally, it's the official right in front of Coach Krause.
Right.
And what it means is Coach Krause was probably already in his ear, timeout. So the minute was actually a tackle.
He was looking at the clock, saw a minute or two.
Get it. So they're going to be at the 27-yard line. So I don't know if they've got that kicker you're talking about. You try a 47-yard field goal. It looks like no. It looks like they're going to keep the offense on the field and see if Fisher can make something happen there. That was Christian Jackson, number 10, with a nice run in the middle. It is a kick. So here we go. Fisher is actually the quarterback is the holder. We're going to see a field goal attempt of about 43 yards from where they're going to spot it.
44 yards.
Interesting, they're spotting it a little short. Short from the snap. Coach Bolden is going to take a timeout. See what they want to do here. I mean, unless you have a really good
like
fake.
You said, they've got him kind of short snap. I'd load up the front with I put Shabola over the nose and let him stand up and try and block it because it's first of all they're only 6 yards deep, and second of all he's got to kick the trajectory. He's got to be low to try and get it there. Sort of like the Buffalo. You saw Baltimore kick 66 yards after, and we talked about the official kind of watching the clock. Those guys fell asleep on the job, didn't they?
Yeah.
Let 2 seconds expire after the clock had counted down to 0. Should have been a delayed game call that would have moved them out of even trying to kick it.
Yep, and here we go. Brock Snell, number 93, a junior, is going to line up to try to kick this for Fairfield. Often a little bit challenging, a little bit to the left side with a right footer. When you try to get a little extra, tend to pull it a bit. We'll see what happens here. But
I love kickers with 90s numbers.
Again, it's kind of interesting. I mean, right? It's a little bit of a short snap. See what happens here. Lakota West is coming off the outside. Did not good distance. Nice kick.
Yeah.
So a nice kick. So there we go as the clock expires on the first half with Lakota West leading Fairfield 28-3.
So momentum for Fairfield. They were able to score right before the half, get that goose egg off of it. So, interesting first half, Brett. We'll be back to call it after halftime.
See you then. Welcome back to Firebird Stadium here on the campus of Lakota West High School for the second half of this GMC matchup between Lakota West and the Fairfield Indians. I'm Brent Phelan. I'll be joined by Dan Zevrink for the rest of the game here tonight. First half was really what we expected. A lot of points from Lakota West. They're up 28-3. Fairfield did catch and kick a field goal there at the end of the half. Sloppy game, lots of turnovers, lots of penalties. In spite of that, Lakota West was certainly able to put some points on the board. But I think for Coach Bolden, you're going to sit back and say, boy, there was a lot of things to work on. And I would expect to see a pretty strong effort, at least the first possession, both offensively and defensively from Lakota West, because I can't imagine that Coach Bolden was overly happy with where they are. And you know, that's a great thing when you can be up 28-3 and not be real happy with a lot of your performance. Some key players that we saw out there, Owen Kaufman on the defensive line. Boy, he did a great job. He really wreaked havoc, and the way the defense was set, he was typically having at least two guys guard, try to block him, but he made some plays, not just keeping the players off, but he actually made some plays instead of just relying on the linebackers.
He might be the only guy not getting yelled at in tomorrow's film session.
Gonzalez blocking. Those are my two. Those
yes.
are my two guys, and I'm not belittling good how many yards he ran for, but boy, number 30, Gonzalez was the guy that led him.
Yeah, 32, the nose guard for West, and 30, the fullback lookalike for West is doing about the only two people really doing a great job tonight. Everybody else got some cleanup to do.
Yeah, and I think
5.
I really think we're going to see from Lakota West on the first offensive and defensive series. I think we're going to see some focus. I think the coach probably said you're going to come out here and I need to see something clean.
Yeah.
From each of his starting groups.
Well, they're going to try and rip the momentum out of Fairfield, who just got that 3-yard, the 3 points right before half. They're going to come out and try and shove it down their throats, and I think that's probably the best way to approach it, because you're making a lot of mistakes right now, Brent. You don't want to be making this late in the season. I mean, snapping over the head, 2 holding calls on the same series. I mean, those are things you can't be doing this late in the season. Fumbling the ball. They got to get that stuff cleaned up, or they're not going to be a serious contender for the playoffs. I mean, they're just not going to be. And
we see Mitch Bolden there. I mean, right? I'm not sure. I didn't get a good angle on it. Maybe there was a little bit of pressure coming on him, but boy, that interception was. I mean, it looked like Minnick was open deep.
Yes.
A couple guys open underneath, and he just threw it kind of in the middle.
Threw it short.
Right through the defender. So I don't know exactly what happened there. Put the ball on the ground a couple times.
And as we've talked about, possessions are so important. You just don't get that many of them. So you can't have them end in turnovers. You just can't. And you can't put the other team in that good a field position and end your drives. I mean, that's 3 to 6 points you're not getting by turning the ball over like that. So here's do you think, Dan, I mean, I was talking to a couple guys at halftime. Is it a matter of playing to your competition? And is that going to be a challenge for Lakota West to get in the playoffs? They're playing Middletown and Oak Hills, whereas the teams like St. X are playing St. Ed's and Ignatius and maybe a little bit higher caliber of opponent. That's why coaches get paid, to avoid that. You can't let that happen. It's 0-0. It's a football game. Anything can happen. There's always upsets, and you don't want that to happen. So you can't just overlook anybody. It's GMC football. Can't overlook anybody, no matter what their record is going into it. There's athletes in the GMC capable of beating you. Even Oak Hills or Middletown can beat you.
So that was Nate Hanna again with the catching the kick, and of course, as we mentioned earlier, even though he caught it on the fly, the fact that it crossed the goal line,
right?
It's an automatic touchback, 20-yard line. So I guess that's the thing. If you're Lakota West, okay, first thing first, our kicker kicked it into the end zone. That's a good thing, right? Check that box.
Yeah, you want a 3-and-out here, or some kind of turnover, whatever you can get. But 3-and-out, shut them down, get your offense on the field, go down and score, make this a 30-point game, and get your guys off the field unhurt. I mean, that's what your goal is.
As we talked earlier, Fisher is the quarterback, leading passer, one of the leading rushers.
He's going to take
off. Good pressure and pulled down. So I didn't even catch that it looked like he got away from the first guy, but number 11, Jacob Asbeck, dragged him down. He's been coming off on the end, so we'll see him probably on the top of the screen. There you go. You see him get underneath number 4, who went out into a pattern. And even though Brian Henderson, 99, got a lot of pressure, the quarterback stepped up, and Asbeck was right there to bring him down for no gain. So 2nd and 10 for Fairfield.
Again, as you can tell, West has a lot of really good athletes on this defensive side of the football. They're very good. And they should be where they're at and being number one in the GMC because they're so. And there's a sack.
Yeah, Fisher
they're so athletic.
But Fisher back for attack. Looked like number 99 again. Henderson involved in that. A lot of credit to the defense here, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he had time to throw the ball. So the defensive backfield, I'm going to have to give them a little bit of kudos there. You see him step up. He's still going. You see number 90 Davis getting held, and actually he and Henderson both were involved in the sack.
Boy, did you see the fight going on there between 32, the nose man, and their center? That center must have got an earful at halftime, and they were just battling on that. That was worth watching, just those two go after it.
So it's interesting. It's marked as a no gain, and instead of a sack, looked like he might have lost about a half yard, but that's not how it's been marked. Quick, nice play, but they're going to call we're going to get interference on that one.
Got there a little early.
Yeah, well, Brown reached around him to make that. So really, it was only one receiver on this side in a pattern. Quarterback, more that slant pattern. Quarterback came through and threw it right to him, and Brown was running right with him, but looks like he was kind of coming on both sides of him there to make sure that he didn't catch it.
So it's going to be a 15-yard penalty, automatic first down for the Fairfield Indians, extend the drive. So again, another penalty that's hurt West, and there they are, extend the drive. For not a very, this team's not good as West is by any stretch of the imagination. They don't have the talent that West has, and West is just letting them stay in the game by making mistakes.
So here we go. Instead of a 3 and out, we're going to have a 1st and 10 for Fairfield from their own 35-yard line. Quarterback scrambling. Good effort there. I thought he was going to lose the ball. He's actually going to gain about 3 yards on the play. Right now we're seeing Lakota West defensive line.
Penetration is crazy.
And not seeing a lot of linebackers. We're seeing, we've seen that safety coming on the outside, but really looks like they're only bringing 3 or 4, and they're getting enough in there. So it's a pretty good job from the defense. There's the linebackers, making sure that they don't get much out of it. A gain of maybe 2. So it's going to be 2nd and 8.
Yeah, if you're a old-time football fan, watch the interaction between 32 Owen Kaufman, this nose man in the center from West. I mean, they are just having a battle royale. So if you want to have a little bit of fun and kind of watch what football, 8 seconds of violence, go ahead and watch that.
So there we go. They're lined up 2 and 2. They had a guy go out. Oh, nice play. Good catch. He's taking it into Lakota West territory down around the 40-yard line of Lakota West. Really well done. They had 2 receivers each side. One guy from the right went in motion, made it a 3-by-1, and then they threw to the one coming out of the backfield. So actually the one remaining guy on the right side went inside. The back out of the backfield, number 3, Jackson, came back underneath, made a nice catch and a really nice run.
Well-designed play. They faked Jackson on play action, and he just goes out and sneaks out into the flat. He's open. They get him the ball, and he has a nice pickup. As you see, Bolton not happy about it. This is not what he wanted. They kicked the field goal to get some momentum, and now they're moving the football, and they're moving the football off a penalty.
So here we go with the 1st and 10 from the Lakota West 40-yard line. Fisher remains in shotgun with a back offset to his right. Jackson, number 3. Wow. So great rush. Jackson just made a nice catch and run. Was not ready to pass protect.
No.
Elijah Davis, number 90, just ran right through him and never slowed down getting to the quarterback. So Fisher tackled for a 2-yard loss.
Yeah, Elijah Davis in the top 3 is sacks in the GMC, so he's adding to his totals. He gets a sack there against Fisher.
That's one of those tough ones, right, as an offense. I mean, your back, that's the back's guy.
Yeah.
I mean, you have one on a man to do it, and, I mean, he didn't block him. I mean, he didn't even slow him down.
But, Brett, the one thing I see here is, like I said, West is just man for man better than Fairfield. And, 28-3 is really not indicative of what the score could be. Is a bad snap and drop there, and they pick up the ball.
Yeah, good job to gain 1.
Yes. Got back to the original line of scrimmage from the sack.
I think that was Michael Figgins, number 17, who was was in the backfield with him, was able to grab the ball and at least advance it for a yard. But, boy, they broke him back, made it back to close to even. It's marked as 3rd and 11 at the 40-yard line, but looks real close to 10.
I like these new down markers where you're getting, 3rd and 11 on the down marker. You don't have to look at the scoreboard. Pretty fancy stuff there.
That's right. So here, as we talked before, they got a little bit off schedule. See what they do now. They got everybody tight. 9 in motion, and we've seen him a few times try to do the same thing.
Nice
back
bubble screen.
Yeah, throw it back to the left side for the first down. Gains about 13 or 14. So nice play design again. And really what they're doing with their pass game now is misdirection.
Yeah,
right? They're moving guys to the left and then throwing it back to the right and getting, in this case, number 10, Christian Jackson, in open field.
Well, smart plays. They're taking advantage of West flowing to the ball as quick as they are.
So you see 3 go left, you see 9 go left, and here you go, 10 just steps out along with 2 offensive linemen and makes a nice run.
Yeah, bring it back. I mean, that's a great little bubble screen to the backside and picks up another first down for Fairfield.
You know, there was 72 and 73. The 2 offensive linemen as a convoy for him. That's Isaiah Moore and Augie Grow. Boy, this is – so a lot happened in that play, right? So bad snap. Quarterback did a nice job adjusting to that, but as we talked before, this is the challenge, right? I mean, you get a first down and then you blow up your own play.
Right.
Quarterback reacts, gets the ball out near a receiver.
So it's just an incomplete pass, and you come back, and that's one of the things you learn. No, not a mistake, not compounding the mistake. I mean, he doesn't fall down on it and take the loss. He picks it up.
This is really odd. They've got the ball spotted for a 3-yard gain on the incomplete pass.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that happened. Yeah.
Either was Coach Bolden.
Yeah. Whoa, Dragon.
Yeah, that's a little odd. So now we're 2nd and 10 at the Lakota West 27-yard line. I mean, that's the challenge, right? I mean, Fisher, the quarterback for Fairfield's got to do a lot of work just to get back to even.
Right.
So, again, tight formation. They're going to actually hand the ball off to Nate Hanna this time. He gains about 2. Maybe that was a premonition.
Yeah.
That's about where they spotted. Oh, we got a little bit of extracurricular activity going on the field. Flags flying. Not sure what we're going to have here. I don't know who initiated it.
They're pushing Afari away, so I'm assuming
that's not good either. One of the offensive linemen for Fairfield was shoving everybody away from him, including the official. That usually doesn't bode well.
Like I said, that center's fired up for Fairfield. They must have had a big talking to him. Him and Kaufman have been going at the line of scrimmage a lot.
That's 55, Dalton Davis involved. Now, let's see what the officials call here. We've got dead ball, so the gain was about 2 yards. There's the personal foul on Lakota West, and now we're going to see it on Fairfield. It's kind of like kissing the proverbial sister.
Yeah,
I mean, why do you even? And you say, why do they even call these? We'll see what happens here at the end. It was a 2-yard gain. Afari's still tied up with number 4. Number 4 shoves Afari. Afari, of course, shoves him both in the face. So at that minute, we had flags both ways, and really nothing was going to happen unless it rose to the level of an ejection. And that's the reason they threw the flags, let's be honest, because they note it down. If one of these players gets another dead ball personal foul or unsportsmanlike conduct, there could be more ramification at that point.
After the play, so it is 3rd down.
They gained 2. So it's 3rd and 8. See what they can do here. From what we saw earlier, they're in field goal range.
Yeah, you got a good kicker.
So there's Fisher, hands the ball right up the middle. That's number 3 again, Jackson.
It's going to be a first down.
Good run, first down.
Well, this cannot be what West was envisioning coming out of the halftime and wanting to do. They had them shut down until they got the penalty, and now Fairfield doing a nice job. Got some good offensive calls. They're picking up the first down. They're moving the change.
Well, you commented on this earlier, right? I mean, their running game seems decent. And if you look at it, Lakota West has got 3 defensive linemen in there. A lot of times only 4 guys coming. So they're begging you to run, right? I mean,
they really are.
The defensive line from Lakota West has done pretty good, but a little bit of a movement there. No call. I don't know how not. Pitches out to number 3, Jackson. Jackson's going to be thrown for a loss of about 3. Lakota West sideline and players were all expecting there to be a full start. You're going to see the guy lined up on the right side there. Oh, we didn't catch it, but there it is. Just a quick snap and kind of just a little actually the snap ended up directly in Jackson's hand next to the quarterback.
Ashback playing a good job there, playing off that
nice
maintain
play.
And contain.
And
doing a good job.
90 Davis and 99 Henderson also right there. But as you mentioned, Ashback was there first.
Well, I think that's what you're seeing, Brent, is West getting a lot of penetration, but they're running the ball up underneath them. So they're already by the defensive lineman by the time they get the football, and then they're in the defensive backfield, that quickly. So it's a good plan.
Oh, ball's on the ground again. The quarterback's able to pick it up and ends up losing about another. Total is going to lose about 5 yards there. It's going to be 3rd and 18.
He's hurt.
Yeah, that was not a good thing. Again,
boy. Jackson or the quarterback?
No, that's the quarterback. Yeah,
It is 8. Yeah.
Oh, and it looks like he's.
It is Fisher.
Looks
knee.
like it's the ankle, I think. See what they
Is he
start.
on his knee or his ankle?
It looked like he
Yeah, it looks
the
ankle.
ankle. Yeah, that's what I saw at first, and I saw a heavy wrap on it already, so it may not be the first time.
Yeah, it's a big loss for Fairfield.
Boy, that's tough. I mean, here we'll see it. Just he and Jackson collided, and the quarterback, instead of just falling on it, as he's done a lot today, he tried to pick it up and see if he could still make a play, and there just was nothing there. You got Afari and Owen Kaufman, both were already right on top of him. And as we looked as normal, there's Henderson running right up next. Okay, so it looks like maybe his right leg gets stuck between the defender's leg and
the ground, maybe,
and then on the ground right there. So, yeah, you could tell he was definitely in some immediate discomfort.
It's good to see, though. He's getting up. Yeah, he's going to run off. A little bit of a limp. He's going to run off. But he's got to come out as he's hurt. He's going to come out for at least a play. I guess maybe a little bit more. And got a brand-new quarterback going to take a snap, so I'm going to expect to see a running play here.
Yeah, it's number 4. Love is normally the guy they brought in today as the back, or this year as the backup quarterback. 0 for 5 throwing the ball. He is, he's run the ball 4 times as well. Let's see if that's who they bring out there. Sure enough, there's number 4. So as you said, he hasn't completed a pass and he's run it a few times. I would suspect he'll be giving it to somebody, but boy, that's tough. 3rd and 20.
Yes, it is. But, again, they're in field goal range. You can see our field goal
So here he is. He's just going to throw it downfield. And you know what? He had number 38 reasonably open.
Yeah.
Braden Shanklin. I think Lakota West might have been thinking he was going to run the ball, and he just rolled straight right. Now, again, young quarterback not getting a lot of reps. He's a junior
coming right off the bench.
But there's one if he would have stopped and thrown the ball, he might have been in a better position. He continued to run, and unsurprisingly, the ball continued to lift, so he overthrew the receiver by, 5 or 6 yards.
Yeah, fumble killed him because they were well within field goal range, and now they're in a long field goal situation here if they even try it.
I think with 6:13 to go and down 28-3 in the 3rd quarter, it looks like the quarterback is back. Fisher is back in there.
Yeah.
So they're going to go for it here on 4th down. A straight drop back. He steps up. Going to try to throw. He just throws it up for grabs. See what happens there. And Josh Fussell was involved in the defense. He just threw a jump ball, which
good pass.
Probably not a bad. Yeah, probably not a bad idea.
If it's intercepted, it's as good as a punt. Yep. Yeah. In fact, you got to kind of throw that where you hope they do intercept it and end up, it's just as good as a punt.
So I guess it's hard to call that a win for Lakota West defense, right? I mean, you allowed the team to advance it down to the, they were into this 17-yard line or something.
Well, they held the ball for 6 minutes of the second, the 3rd quarter, which is a lot. And this is what we talked about. Possessions are so important for you. I mean, West is going to get 1 possession, it looks like, in the 3rd quarter. So
the defense, I don't think that was an A.
No.
So let's see if the offense can do something. They had a pretty good drive, that 75-yard drive. This is good with a nice run. He's going to still on his feet, still advance. A really nice run out to the 46-yard line, 45-yard line.
But I'll bet you somewhere along the line, if we see a replay on this, 30 somewhere involved in this. I don't know it for sure, but I'm guessing 30.
We'll
there he is,
There's
right there.
30. Actually, he went right. Nothing there. Nice cutback from Good back through the middle. He saw a block there on the ground. I see. We'll see what happens here. There's 52 coming downfield.
Good as a little cannonball.
Here he goes again. Bounces it again, and then gets his shoulder. Woody does a nice job there, right? He bounced the play to the right, and I think we're going to get a hold anyway. But he bounced the play to the right, but he gets his shoulders back square. Yeah. And so when he's running through tackles, because he's got all of his strength and momentum in there.
Well, what I like about Good's run style is there's just not a lot to hit there. He's very short and very stocky. So when he gets those pad levels low, what do you hit?
So it is going to be a holding penalty on Lakota West downfield. So we're going to end up probably 1st and 15 or so, maybe 16. See exactly where it's spotted. Coach Bolden shaking his head. He
can't be happy about this.
Here you go, right? You think, well, at least the offense maybe can come out here and show something. We're going to see this. He's going to come up the middle. He's going to fall 30 up the middle. Not much there. He quickly bounces it to the right. I'm guessing the hold's going to be called on number 55. I say that not to pick on 55. He's the only guy in the area. That's Eric Cifuentes. I didn't see a hold, but he looked like he was near the spot where the flag was thrown. Nice run here from Brown.
Wow.
We're going to get another illegal hold or illegal block here. I think this time
we're a hold.
Yeah, I think we're going to get this on Dwayne Richardson, number 10.
Because the problem here is when you're either a wide receiver or a slot back here, you got to hold this.
It's a long
long time to block somebody, and the guy tries to run away from you. You have a tendency to hold him. It's tough.
So once again, you can see Coach Bolden pretty frustrated. I mean, two what appeared to be really nice runs, actually three, one counted, and now two with penalties. So instead of 1st and 10 again and again, it's now 1st and 22.
You talk about being off schedule. What you're calling 1st and 22? There's not a lot in the playbook for that.
I mean, do you go? And here's the thing: they're trying to run the ball, right? I mean, you could go back to throw the ball. They had a lot of some successes there, but they're trying to run it, and they've run it for 15 yards the last 2 times.
Oh, I know, but and they go back 10.
So how? I guess this is one of those you try to say. Can you run I would assume they're running the ball because
got Lloyd on a jet sweep.
Yeah, there were 2 guys on the right side, both on the line of scrimmage. So they clearly weren't going to be in a pass down. 2 of the wideouts were on the line of scrimmage, meaning they weren't eligible. Or
Lloyd and other kids had a pretty good game. Number 4 for
Firebirds
had a pretty good game. Nice catches.
Yeah, not much. 2 yards on that gain? Not much there.
Right.
I mean, they're just trying to make something happen here. So 2 by 2, we got slots right and left. One in the backfield with Bolden. See what Bolden does. It looks like a screen lined up. If that's a good block, we're going to get a nice run here from Good. So kind of an interesting play. If you saw that, it was the screen. I think they're going to actually get another.
Hit.
Yeah, they pulled the helmet off it.
So face mask.
Yeah, so it's going to be a face mask, and that's going to be a, so first thing, it was 2nd and 20. The screen pass itself is going to gain about 25. And you're going to see it. You can tell they let everybody through. That's the screen. The offensive line steps through.
They release.
There's the back. They almost 2 guys. One guy coming through almost. That's why I looked to see if there was a flag. Nice effort here. At the end, the guy pulls Good's helmet off.
Oh, yeah, that'll be a penalty.
So
15 yards.
So it's going to be 15 yards tacked on. The spot was actually a gain of about 21. We're going to add 15 onto it. That's going to end up being a 36-yard gain.
So all these penalties you're doing right now for West is adding to their yardage because they keep getting them back.
So in this case, but there's Fairfield. They said, hey, you guys have got 2 penalties in a row. Let us do.
Right, let us do it.
There you go.
You can't out-penalty us.
So it's 1st and 10 for Lakota West at the Fairfield 29 with 4:20 to go.
Bolden looking in for the call. He got the call. He's calling the play.
I mean, here's the challenge, right? You're moving the ball downfield, but you can't feel good as an offensive coach, right?
How can you feel good about this?
I mean,
that was great. You throw a screenplay, get 25 yards and an extra 15 on another mistake.
Bolden's going to fake the end around to Lloyd again and keep it and advance it up the middle for maybe a yard.
I mean, anybody that's going to see the score on the news tonight is going to go, yeah, West handled them. But the problem is they have not looked sharp. I mean, if you're an offensive coach, you can't feel good about this. If you're a defensive coach, you can't feel good about this because if this was a different team, a better team, they would be struggling to win this football game.
Player for Fairfield just went down on the 20-yard line on his back mid-play, so obviously we're going to have a little bit of a injury timeout. Hopefully it's nothing too severe. He just was out there and
decided to go down.
Yeah, so hopefully it's just something minor, but he knew he couldn't get off the field in time. And
he's acting like he had the wind knocked out of him, but he was up standing for a long time.
It looks like he's holding a wrist,
maybe. Yeah. That is it.
So
that is Humberger.
We'll see what happens here. Yeah, he's one of the leading tacklers on
the team.
He is,
and he's one that recovered the fumble earlier.
So we'll see what happens here. He's
trying to pull the ball out, and then he gets hit right there late. Probably pulled something, twisted something, sprained something. He's got his arms locked around the ball there in the ball carrier, and then he got hit.
And he gets up and goes back to position, and then he sat down. So I think it was one of those where, immediately you jump up thinking you'll shake it off, and all of a sudden you're, 10, 12 seconds later, and they're coming to the line of scrimmage, and it's not shaken off. So there he is. Hopefully it's, couldn't tell if one of the other guys got there and maybe hit him, got the hand trapped between the other player and the ball carrier, or if maybe he landed on it then with the ball carrier landing on it.
Yeah, they're looking at that right wrist.
Definitely in some distress, that's for darn sure.
And he does not look happy about whatever happened.
So off on his own power, although that doesn't tell us a lot since we know it's an upper extremity injury.
Well, Brent, I don't know what to tell you, man. This is just not something that West is going to feel terribly great about. I mean, they're going to feel good about the win. They're certainly going to feel good about the Harbin rating points they're going to get from this win. Because I think Fairfield's a good enough team to go on and win some more games in the GMC, especially against,
But, in the GMC, somebody wins them all. So as long as you win your games and it's not the team you don't play, you're going to get those points. But 2nd and 9, Bolden back to pass. all the way downfield.
Wow,
Looked
there
like
it is.
I couldn't quite tell. I think that's number 1, Hollywood Brown.
That is Brown.
Yeah. Good
You know,
for
I
Jair.
got to give them credit, Brent. A lot of times coaches don't want to play these guys both ways, but it's good that Bolden does. I mean, he's got Division I talent. That's very rare in high school football to have a Division I talent, and you know they have 2 of them to throw to. So if you're a defense, you know that puts fear in the knights of defensive coordinators to know you got to defend that.
Oh,
and it's good that he's playing them.
They play these guys on special teams also.
Yes.
I mean, we saw Alex
Punt
Afari rushing
return.
a punt. We see him returning punts.
I think Afari's got a kickoff return for a touchdown, doesn't he? And
Yeah,
Jair Brown's got at least 1 punt return for a touchdown.
So here we go. Hannah Duncan lining up to kick the extra point, trying to tack that 35th point on for Lakota West.
There's that ponytail bouncing. Love to see that. And she booms it through.
Booms it through. So with 3:23 to go here in the third quarter from Lakota West, it is Lakota West 35 and Fairfield 3. And for all of you guys who aren't as familiar, you're going to start seeing that clock continue to run. We're more than 30 points. So the mercy rule, as they call it, keeps that clock running.
Yeah, this will be a really quick fourth quarter now.
You know, and what it does, it's interesting. It makes it so hard to get backups on the field.
Yes.
You know, you used to be able to when these games would go on, but you know,
well, I don't think you're going to see with a 31-point lead, 32-point lead. I don't think you're going to see the returning starters of West. I mean, why risk them getting hurt? Doesn't make any sense. I mean, with a running clock, you're not going to be able to have enough time for a comeback of any kind. So I think you're going to see the JV teams go now.
But let's just look at this kick team. If you look out there for Lakota West, I see 13 Ben Minnick. I see 11 Jacob Hasbeck. I see 23 Aiden Miller. I see number 3 Tyler Sparnell. I mean, I see number 9 Malik Hartford. I was just talking to his dad at halftime. They're headed up to Notre Dame for a recruiting visit, which it'll be interesting. He has an offer from Cincinnati.
Well, there you go.
So, but he's headed up to Notre Dame this weekend. So just on this, you know, halfway through the team, you can see a bunch of starters.
Got it?
Malik Hartford.
Number 9?
Yes.
What position
He is a safety. So he's
nice.
and Malik.
Well, there you go.
Malik's a 6'3", 180-pound junior.
Well, there you go right there, Brent. I mean, another Division I athlete in that defensive backfield. That's crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of them out there. So, but yeah, I mean, this is kick coverage, and you've got a kicker who's kicked another touchback.
Right.
So, I mean, more than half the time it would appear he's putting the ball in the end zone.
But you've got Division I players all over the field for West. You know, Bolden's taking advantage of them. He's using them on punt returns, kick returns. And that was the one complaint I had when Larry was here, when they had kids like Jordan Hicks here. Why is he not on the floor all the time? I mean, he was a special talent. Get him out there.
So here we go, 1st and 10, and it is the starting quarterback back in. You're knocked down. Nice, looks like a hand on that one. See if he turns around. I think it was Brian Henderson. Looked likely 99. His jersey's kind of tucked up under there. He didn't want to show it off, and there you go. So nice play by Brian Henderson. Good push. And got right in the face of the quarterback and knocked the ball down. The left-hander there you see Fisher, number 8. There's Asbeck again coming off the left side.
Well, 9-9 just pushing him straight back.
Push the guy in and incomplete pass, 2nd and 10. So, you know, here you go. I think if you're the defensive coordinator, you probably said, okay, guys, go out there and give me a good 3 and out. Give me a good possession.
So it looks like West still got their starters on the floor.
I think it's because it's frustration, right?
Well,
they're like, you guys got to, wow. Straight up the middle with Henderson. He got away.
How do you get out of that?
Props to,
almost interception.
You know, props to Fisher. I mean, he's down 35-3. He's a sophomore. He's out here. He's been hurt. He's been everything happening. I mean, that would have been so easy to go down in the sack. He keeps his composure. He fights for it. Gets out, finds somebody downfield, and almost had a great completion. And then almost an interception.
Almost, but in any event, you had no loss of yardage, so that's good.
So 3rd and 10 here for Fairfield, and you know, we say it over and over, but as your Lakota West defense, you got to be frustrated. It's like finish the sack.
Yeah,
make
the tackle.
I mean, even in that case, it's an incomplete pass, but it's like that wasn't what the play should have been if the defense were on point.
Should be 3rd and 15 right now.
So here we go. Good pressure up, all around. Hartford there. We just talked about number 9 poked an arm in there. I think the official from the far side is going to call a penalty on this one.
You know, I was talking to the guy from WLW9. There's been a lot of ticky-tack calls tonight too. I mean, like we said before, Fairfield getting that roughness call, that was a ticky-tack call, and the guy from WLW said he thought those sideline warnings were kind of ticky-tack calls too. That line judge with the white hat's been a little ticky-tack today, and he got another one here where good play.
So for the second possession in a row of this half, 3rd and 10, pass interference makes it a first and 10 from the 35-yard line.
Yeah, so far the best player for Fairfield has been the guys in stripes.
And believe me, snap bounces to the running back there. I think that's 10. I think maybe Christian Jackson is now in the – no, I'm sorry, that's number 20. Got the carry this time.
Fataki.
That's Juster's Fataki.
I think that's Fataki. I don't know.
It is. It's one of the two.
You're the Notre Dame, Reg. I'm going to go with your way.
Yeah, it's Fataki. There's two of them, right? His brother plays defense.
21.
So there we're going to have, with that running clock, we're going to have the end of the third quarter, Lakota West 35 and the Fairfield Indians 3. We'll be right back. So welcome back to Firebird Stadium here at Lakota West High School for the beginning of the fourth quarter between Lakota West and Fairfield. Third quarter, right? I mean, what is it? Second verse, same as the first? I mean, third quarter, pretty much like what we saw in the first half.
The whole game's been this way.
Right? Not very pretty, but Lakota West.
Very sloppy.
Another touchdown, Fairfield nothing.
I don't want to belabor it. I'm as much a homer as you're going to find. I mean, I love Lakota West. I've been doing these games forever. Love this. I love their program. I love what Bolden's done with this team. But tonight has just not been Lakota West night. They're winning 35-3, which you would think would be, how do you complain about that? But
does that tell you something about how good they are and how and what the expectation now is for this Tom Bolden team?
Yes, I think so. It's I've always said that if you brought Kerry Combs or Bolden up to Lakota West or Lakota East or any of them, you'd have the new Coleraine, and I think you do right now. I think West is really putting in their hand to be the new Coleraine.
So that was a 2nd and 7. They threw the pass, short little pass. Elijah Davis, number 90, threw him for a loss. There's also going to be a hold on the play, in the backfield. We'll see what they do. Are they going to take the 10-yard penalty? Or are you just going to take the 2-yard loss and a loss of down?
Pushing them back.
We'll see that. We'll see what happened here. You're gonna see the receiver try to step out. 38 goes in motion.
Fake the jet sweep.
Yeah, 17 steps back to catch the ball, and there you go. They're looks like they're holding number 99 Henderson, but number 90 Elijah Davis
comes off, makes a play.
Would have tackled him for a 2-yard loss, but they're going to take the penalty, so we're going to be on 2nd and 19 for Fairfield.
Wow.
I intentionally didn't really look at all the stats here for the penalty. I mean, it's just so frustrating. We're going to see another hold. Quarterback does a nice job scrambling, throws it over the receiver's head, no play, out of bounds, or incomplete. Going to see another penalty here in the backfield.
Brent, I'm going to be interested to see West when they play a primarily running team. Fairfield came out here and actually ran the ball pretty well, but now, with 35-3, they can't run the ball. They got to score quick. So they're trying to throw the football so they get another holding call. So maybe they want to go back to the run.
Yeah.
You might want to emphasize the run.
Well, the only thing that's a little bit makes me wonder. I mean, Lakota West has basically had 3 linemen and then a 4th from somewhere.
Rushing
on, and also for the run. So you should be able to run the ball, break that initial.
Should.
I mean, you've got at a minimum 5 guys.
Yeah, this is a different defense from what Carlton Gray used to run too. I mean. So they are a little bit in a learning mode here. Carlton used to run that 4-3 with 4 down linemen and 3 linebackers, and this looks like a 3-4 to me. So they are running a different defense than they did last year, and last year's defense was tremendous.
So here's the really interesting thing here. Now the officials, they're talking about, okay, are you taking a penalty? No, you're going to decline it. Okay, let's go back and do it again. All the time the clock's running. So we're already down to 9:35. We wasted 2 minutes trying to spot the ball. They're still a little bit confused, and what happened here, it's going to be 3rd and 19.
Yes.
So Lakota, is an incomplete pass. So instead of taking the holding penalty, they're just going to take the down.
And take the time, as you talk about it, for 20 minutes, and the clock runs down.
It's kind of interesting here. Quarterback, we'll see with Fisher back there. The lefty getting a little gun shy. This time pick 6. Well, we'll see. They couldn't get in the last time. Knocked him out of bounds at the 2-yard line.
This time Fisher did get over and knock him out after throwing the pickoff. Number 3 on
I think that's 3. Tyler Sparnell with the interception. Boy, he was just waiting, right? He was looking at the quarterback, saw the guy,
Saw the out pattern, came underneath and took it. I mean, good play by him. I mean, he did a great job. For down and distance, he played that perfectly.
See where they spot him out of bounds. It looks like inside the 5-yard line, around the 4.
Yeah.
Again, I'll give Fairfield credit, right? I mean, they could have let him go in the end zone. They didn't.
That was a frustration tackle by the quarterback. He threw the interception.
Just a really nice play by Tyler Sparnell. I mean, right, he had his receiver right there. He was looking back in the backfield, saw the quarterback, stepped right in front of the receiver and ran it down the sideline to the 4-yard line. But I just want to, give Fairfield. They're it's a sophomore quarterback. He's not giving up. I mean, he's thrown 8 now. More interceptions now. Here we go around the outside. Looks like there's going to be plenty of room there for the touchdown.
Good with his 3rd touchdown of the game.
No, that's 26. We missed that. That's Giovanni Wilson with a touchdown.
Oh, Wilson comes in for his first touchdown, some first actions. They're getting some.
He's
some
only got
kids in.
Only 13 carries and 1 touchdown on the year going into that play. So congratulations, Giovanni.
Giovanni looked good there on that 2-yard, 3-yard pickup.
He's a 5'9", 155-pound sophomore.
So he puts it up there, and who's going to be the kicker this time?
And it's here we go. It's going to be Bond again. Yeah,
Bond. I guess Duncan did last time. Although
they're alternating.
Although I got to give Duncan credit in the fact that she will be the leading scorer for a female in Lakota West or Lakota history.
Absolutely. So there we go. So the extra point added on there. It's 42-3 with 8:44 to go here.
Yeah, Brent, I stood corrected. A couple weeks ago, I mentioned that was probably a first for Lakota to have a female score a point in a football game, but she did it last year. So I was off on that. She said that she is that person, but she did it a year earlier, not this year. So I was corrected by Spadafora and telling me that no, she had a couple points last year.
Oh, excellent. So, again, I mean, this is, I don't want to beat the proverbial dead horse. Lakota West here now, 8:44 to go. Obviously, kickoff. I mean, this has been a pretty effective thing. He's kicked a number of them into the end zone, which I think at this stage, if you can make a high school offense start on their own 20,
it's good.
You're in pretty good shape.
Well,
especially with a defense like Lakota West has, right? I mean, we're not talking about.
Is it time for you to do your Danny Don Meredith impression of Turn Out? Can you do the Southern accent?
I kind of feel like they were there. We could have probably said that about 2 scores in.
Sometime in the first half, I think.
21-0. And I mean, I'll give some credit to Fairfield. They're not quitting. They're not trying. They're just not as talented. And when we talk about the kids from Lakota West who are going to Division I commits and offers and good return. Good return. And I'm looking at the players on the field. That definitely is Lakota West's second. It looks like it might be a second kick coverage team. I don't see all those starters we were talking about earlier out there.
I got to tell you, that Nate Hanna, number 9, is quite the weapon for Fairfield.
He has. And also defensively, it looks like we're seeing a lot of substitutes here.
Right.
So with 8-10 and running, Fairfield's going to start out at their own 43-yard line down by 39. Again, that running clock.
West has pulled everybody.
Let's take a look and try to point some of these guys out. I see Ebony Curry, number 53, a 6'2", 180-pound junior defensive lineman out there.
Got 50.
I see 50. That is Aaron Cayo, a 6', 193-pound junior linebacker. Try to pick out as many guys as we can here. I see Mike Brandkamp, number 34. Ball's loose again. See what we end up with here. It's either, see what happens. At a minimum, it's second down, so no gain. Be 2nd and 10.
So the best outcome for Lakota West right now is they've got their starters off the field, so no one gets hurt.
Number 8, Isaiah Jones, a 5'10", 200-pound senior linebacker.
And you're going to get some playing time, some varsity Friday night lights playing time for your underclassmen.
96, Kofi Bobby, a 6', 250-pound junior defensive lineman.
The only problem this creates is for the JV coaches tomorrow that if they get more than 5 or 6 plays, then that's considered a quarter.
So here we go. Nice quick throw from Fisher. And, nice run. Going to take it the distance for Fairfield. So there you go. It's number 38, I believe, is who the receiver was there. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that would be Braden Shanklin with the touchdown. So, boy, nice run. You're going to see a nice throw from Fisher. He just throws it sideways, maybe 2 yards upfield, and runs right through a couple tackles. Good block out there, and Lakota knocks themselves off.
Some bad tackling right there.
So touchdown Fairfield. They're pretty excited here with 6:48 to go. See what they do here. Looks like they're going to do the old swinging gate and come over here to.
I got to tell you, Fairfield did that to us as freshmen a few years ago. Ended up snapping the ball, and on that position, the swinging gate there, the center is as we talked about, he's an uncovered receiver.
So he's eligible.
So he walked into the end zone, no one covered him because he's the center, and they threw the ball to him for the extra point.
A little awkward there on the play. I think we're going to get a false start. The extra point would have been good, but they're going to have to move it back 5 and try again. And that looks like, is it 92 out there kicking?
But that is something for all you young coaches to realize that center, when they do swinging gate, is their eligible receiver.
Actually, I think
you got to cover him.
Yeah, it's either 92 or 93. That's the 2 kickers for Fairfield. So maybe we'll get a better angle again.
They're not going to go swinging gate. They're just going to go line up.
Just line up and kick the extra point.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens here with 6:48 to go.
Based on the field goal from the other kicker right before half, he's got plenty of leg. Old number 92.
Yeah, 93 I think was the first guy. So I think actually this is 92, which is Aiden McGuire, a freshman place kicker. So I think we had a backup. Well, maybe we'll see when he gets out there because it's hard to tell with 92 and 93, and they're not big guys, so the numbers don't show very well.
Yeah, it looks like a defensive lineman and they're kickers. Although I love that.
You said that.
Otto Graham days when 93 is your quarterback or whatever he was.
So here we go. Lakota West now up 42-10. See what happens here with the kickoff return team for Lakota West. We haven't seen them very, since the early in the game.
Yeah, it's been a long appearance.
Because if you think their other score was at halftime, so there was no kickoff.
Right.
So they kicked off to open the game, and this will be the second kickoff for Fairfield. We do see, looks like both Brown and Afari are deep. I see, again, same kind of thing. I see I see 23 out there, Aiden Miller on the return team.
Lots of starters, lots of good starters are using.
There's Remy, number 14 over. Remember, he had the return on that first one where he grabbed it and ran.
And they've had some special teams, kickoff returns and punt returns for touchdowns. So nothing breaks open a game like a kickoff or a punt return to put a dagger in the heart of your opponent.
So there's the kick, actually kicking a little bit deeper. Looks like Afari grabbed it, caught it. He's a strider, as you said earlier. I think they grabbed him by the face mask
again
because it looked like Afari. It was like, boy, you would think he'd be running through this tackle, and he couldn't. And I think it's because
somebody's got him by the face.
That hurts.
It hurts a lot.
Yeah, that's your neck. So
just ask Kenny Anderson about that, as they did the Exorcist impression of him on the goal line. Pittsburgh did.
Looks like we might have 2 flags on the play. So we'll see.
Assuming where they were, same call.
Yeah, well, it looks like, is there one over by where Lakota West is? Yeah, there's one back there around the 20-yard line. So
there's 2 right by the face mask.
Yeah, so I think we have a face mask, and I'm guessing we have an illegal block because that's pretty far back there. You'll see it when the Lakota West team gets out of the way there. They got it flagged back, so we'll see how this.
Are they going to re-kick that? Offsetting calls, do they re-kick that?
Let's see what. They're both live ball fouls, so it's not anything else. Here they are coming over to talk to Coach Bolden about what they're going to do here.
What do you want to do?
So what do you do with 5:23? And by the way,
make them re-kick it and work on those special
and
teams.
Counting. So while they have this conversation.
Half the fourth quarter has been taken up in calls.
So there's the face mask call. That's going to be declined. The hold is going to. So I think your option would have been that. So actually, Lakota West is going to be penalized. I think their option, they could have had him re-kick. And I think Bolden's like this, fine, just give us the ball.
Just take the ball.
Which it seems weird. But I think he just wants to get probably this, this group some snaps.
There's the band, his large band. I had Jim Allshouse in here who's filming down there. He said he had to wear his earplugs because the band's so loud down there.
So here we go. Quick handoff up the middle. Check to see who it is, but you'll see we've got a second group out there, and I think that's why Coach Bolden declined the penalty on that, just accepted one, so they got the ball, even though they took it over at their own 10-yard line, just try to get a few snaps, as we mentioned earlier, that clock running. And that's Gonzalez. Boy, I mean, great to see him get – well, he got a handoff. He actually got a chance there.
Getting a chance to run the ball as he should get. I mean, he's done such a great job blocking. He should have a chance to run the football tonight.
So it looks like 15 is in there at quarterback for Lakota West. That's Nolan Parker, the sophomore. We saw Gonzalez in the backfield there. I also see, I think it's number 42 for Lakota West. Catch him as well. That's Johnny Simpson.
Hand off to Gonzalez again.
Going to be tackled for a loss. Definitely not a lot of push from the offensive line
Did
right
not
now.
Get the blocking that he provided for
people. And we can take a look. I'm not sure if Fairfield is completely substituting like Lakota West is right now. Looks like some fresh numbers.
Yeah, but I mean, Gonzalez did not get the blocking that he provided for good and group. So
and that's always challenging. Boy, it's like, could he get maybe a handoff with the starting offensive line sometimes? Nice. But hey,
he certainly earned it.
They're out here. We're going to see what happens again. 3rd down and long, a little over 10. Try to come around. Yeah, just and clock running, approaching 3 minutes.
Nowhere to go.
We see number 2 there for the defense. That's Kavi Bivens involved in that tackle. So it's now going to be 4th and 15 for Lakota West.
I'm guessing they're going to punt.
Yeah, here comes the punt team in.
So 3 and out for West's JV team, who will be playing the same Fairfield Indians tomorrow, Saturday at Fairfield.
But it's always nice to get a few snaps on Friday night.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Makes it more important next year when they're in, some of these guys are in prime positions.
And you can play 5 quarters.
That you've already been out there.
A week, so they can play a quarter tonight and still play 4 quarters tomorrow in the JV game.
So there's a snap. Punt is away. Good roll. Boy, it's going to be a very effective punt. That's more than 45, about 48-yard net punt. You would take that every day.
Now,
great job.
Brent, I got to toot my own hair. I was on the field playing when the record-setting punt for Lakota happened. And it's all Lakota. It was actually Lakota at the time, but it's still farther than anybody from West or East is punting. That was Pat Fowler kicked the ball against Hamilton Taft, if that tells you how it goes, back before Big Blue, 72 yards.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, he just, it sounded like somebody hit something with a sledgehammer, and the guy immediately, the returner, just turned around and started sprinting backwards. Ball hit behind him and rolled down to about the 18-yard line. He kicked that out of the end zone. So
32, looks like Caleb House, a junior quarterback, is at quarterback here with 2:08 to go. They're going to try to roll out to the right side. He's able to get the corner, gain 2 or 3 yards, got around number 34, Mike Brainkamp, got around him for 2 yards before he brought him down.
Yeah,
so certainly not a.
He paid the
and
price.
He paid the price
because Brainkamp had him around the shoulders, and somebody came in and separated him low, so he got hit pretty good.
So 2nd and 7 for Fairfield with 1:45 and running. But Lakota West still up 42-10.
He's getting some girlfriend time here. He's getting some varsity football action, so he'll get some bragging rights to the girlfriend, the cheerleader, saying, hey, I played tonight quarterback.
So we'll see what happens here. They got 2 receivers top, 2 bottom, 1 in the backfield with the quarterback. He's going to hand the ball up the middle. Little man there, number 22, Tayshawn Mosley, a junior running back. Pretty quick there, right? Got down for about another 3 or 4 yard.
Yeah, it looks a little bit like Cameron Goody, kind of short and stout and tough to, not a lot to hit when they get them pads low.
So it looks like they're going to spot him with a 2-yard gain. It's going to be 3rd and 5 for Fairfield with under a minute to go. Likely have just a couple plays left. We'll see what happens here.
A Darren Sproles type running back.
Snap back, hand off to him again, and wow, Lakota West, I see 57 and right on him right as he hit the line of scrimmage there. That's Gabriel Flores.
And 53 also.
53 involved as well. That's Ebony Curry. So some nice plays in the interior there. I see Aaron Cayo.
They definitely found a place to hit him there because they brought him right down.
So 30 seconds and running from that perspective.
Are they changing? Was that 4th down?
That was 4th down? I thought apparently that was 4th down. I guess we missed it as well.
Yeah, they're moving the chains. Back the other way.
No, it looks like it actually is just 4th and 5, but
Okay.
but Fairfield's not going to run another play. So actually, they're not moving the chain; they're just taking them in.
Oh, they are. Yeah, it's
They're
over.
headed
5
in.
seconds left. Yeah, it's over.
So Dan here from Lakota West. I mean, all Lakota West on the scoreboard, 42-10.
Yes. But I can tell you right now, Coach Bolden's not going to be very happy about any one of his offense or defensively. It's going to be a problem for him. The film room's going to be quite lively tomorrow. The only ones that can sit and sleep tomorrow are 32 Kaufman. Owen Kaufman had a great game, along with Gonzalez blocking, and number 4 Lloyd. He had a nice game. So other than that, it's going to be open season on getting yelled at.
And it's going to be a challenge. Next week's Middletown is over.
Yeah.
So the opponent it's going to be about yourself, not about the opponent. So
although West has Coleraine and East coming up, so they got some games coming up.
So let's wrap it up here, Dan. So from Lakota West 42 and Fairfield 10. Good night, everybody.
Good night.